Hello and welcome to Farmingdale, New York. It is Matt. It is Richie. We are hanging out with the Jets Lounge guys. Richie, my man, how's it going?
Matt, this is sick. We're at the Jets Lounge event in Farmingdale. The main event is what it's called. We got the entire Ruckert family over there. Jeremy Ruckert ready to sign autographs. This is sick. I've never done a live event like this with you, Matt. It's awesome. Actually, our first time meeting in person.
Yeah, I don't know, like, if you're watching at home, I don't know if you know this. So both of us are from Long Island. We don't talk about it at all. Like, I don't know how you would possibly know it if because we don't talk about it ever. But we live literally probably 10 minutes from each other, and this is the first time we've ever met. So
10 minutes from each other. Stay tuned because we are planning a grill and Jets talk. That's going to happen eventually,
Yes.
Matt. I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to invite you over. We got the Blackstone. We're going to be cooking food, talking Jets. So stay tuned for that as well.
Dude, you don't have to get me started on the Blackstone. I am obsessed with it. I do.
Me too.
So anytime I go out like drinking, I'll make bacon, egg, and cheeses on there the next day. That's my routine, my go-to. It is just perfect, and it's a wonderful night here. I love it.
No, yeah, the whole Blackstone started with me is actually for tailgates for the Jets. I was at the opener last year, and then someone next to me at the tailgate had a griddle making eggs and bacon. I was like, I went up to him like, yo, what is this? Like, he's like, oh, it's called a Blackstone. Look it up. I bought it for tailgates, and then I'm like, I need the real deal. So then I went out there and got the 36-inch 4-burner, and I'm cooking for food on 4th of July. My whole family's over. I'm the chef, so it's good. So stay tuned for that. But this is awesome. We have so many Jets fans. I wish we can show you what it's looking like right now, but we have a lot of Jets fans lining up to meet Jeremy Ruckert. This is my second time meeting him because I met him at Ralph's. He's a good dude.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, I'm sure we're going to talk about this a lot tonight, but he is literally living out every one of our dreams. Growing up on Long Island, playing for your hometown team, it doesn't get any better than that.
Literally. I mean, I grew up wearing a Jets helmet when I'm like 6 years old and a Jets jersey, going out there playing ball with my dad and my friends, visualizing myself catching a touchdown at MetLife Stadium. That's exactly what Jeremy Ruckert's living. That is pretty crazy. And it's cool. We met his father. I shook his hand. I was like, yo, what's good, Mr. Ruckert? So it was really cool to see the entire Ruckert family here and seeing Jeremy Ruckert come out here. He's nice enough to join the Jets Lounge. This is sick.
Yeah, this is a phenomenal event, by the way, that the Jets Lounge has put together. So if you're not following along with them online, you absolutely should. They do Twitter Spaces all the time. Great events like this. And Richie, this is going to sound so stupid because he's an NFL tight end, but when he walked in, he is so much bigger than I thought he would be. He's huge.
Yeah. I had that same experience when I met him at Ralph's, and when I first saw him, I was like, holy, he definitely looks like a football tight end. I mean, his legs are gigantic, his lower half, his body. I mean, you're just like, wow, this man stands out. You look at him compared to everybody at this bar, it's like, yep, that guy is definitely part of the NFL.
But, I mean, obviously we know where he gets it from, too, because his dad was a big guy, too. His hand, I'm 6'4". I have a pretty big hand, but it just swallowed me.
Yeah, literally. I mean, Jeremy definitely looks like a player that's going to be at the next level playing well. And we got Tyler Conklin, we got CJ Uzama, and we got Sack Exchange behind the camera right now. Why don't you get in here real quick?
Yeah, come on. Come around.
You're the reason for all this. Shout out to Sack Exchange.
Grab the mic.
What's up, guys?
Grab that mic.
Okay, go ahead.
You're good. Yep.
Yeah, go.
What's up, everyone?
This is the CEO of the Jets Lounge. He is the reason why we're all here right now, live at the main event. How'd you get this whole thing started, man? This is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it started with me and Anthony, just as like the spaces just started opening, and we were thinking, what should we do? And we said, let's just open up a space, and it went from there to we had like about 15 people. And then it went to about 50, and then D-Wood came in, and there was like, and T-Rich came in, and went up to like a couple thousand. It just blew up. And then I started noticing some of the people that were on our show were actually really good callers. So yeah. I said, why don't we bring them and expand it to different shows? So it kind of blown up, and now it's blowing up to this.
Yeah, absolutely. And now you have like this great event going. Did this exceed your expectations?
Yeah, it's surreal, actually. Every time that I look at this, I just told them on the table before we were eating food, I'm like, it's amazing. Like sometimes it's a little bit unbelievable to you that now it's culminating in events and stuff, and you guys supporting us and we supporting you, and we love what you do, and I think I try to show it to you guys every time. So, I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, man, what you built is special. We're excited to be at the Jets Lounge for opening day, week number 1 against the Baltimore Ravens. That's going to be sick. And it's just cool, man, what you've built. I mean, you built a whole community, and that's what this is all about. We're all Jets fans. We're all trying to connect on a different level, and that's what Twitter is able to do. That's what YouTube is able to accomplish, and it just feels so good because all Jets fans want is a winning damn football team. We're all in this together. So this event's already off to the right strat. I love it.
No, absolutely. We've got thousands of fans, the most passionate, I think, fan base anywhere. I mean, that's what we would say. But well, listen, I thank you guys for coming in here. I don't want to take up all your time. I know you guys might have some other guests come through, but
hopefully.
Yeah. But listen, I'm a big fan of you guys. I'm always shouting you out. So
always.
All the love in the world to you guys, and
appreciate you, Sack.
You guys up there.
Love it. There
Appreciate
he is,
you,
Sack Exchange. You know him, you love him. Thank you to him for putting this together, as always. Just such a phenomenal event. So if you want us to answer your question, just comment down below.
Shout out to my boy James in the chat.
Yeah, we got everyone's in the chat. Green Beans, look at him. Gotta love Sack. He's the man in real life. There he is. Hawks in here. Jets forever.
Jets forever. The legend.
Sack Exchange. Love it. Love it. Love it.
Highlight James. That's my boy from home. James O'Boyle. J-O-B. What's up, James? Appreciate you tuning in.
Gotta love it. Man, so you mentioned tight ends before, and Jeremy Ruckert, obviously, this is what we're here for today, is the Jeremy Ruckert signing. I wanted to ask you, what is your expectation for Ruckert this year, and as a rookie?
Yeah, I just feel like whenever his name is called, I'm expecting him to go out there and prove why Jets fans are excited for him. He was drafted in the back end of the third round, and we know that he wasn't really utilized at Ohio State in the passing game simply because of all the talent around him, that including Garrett Wilson. Yeah. So it's really fun to see Jeremy Ruckert go in there, and we're not expecting him to be the guy right away because guess what? Joe Douglas revamped this entire tight end room in one offseason. We got Tyler Conklin and we got CJ Uzomah, so it's not like we're putting all the weight on Jeremy Ruckert's shoulders as a rookie. So I feel like, he's going to provide depth. Mike LaFleur is going to be utilizing him a lot in the run game, especially in the blocking. So my expectations for him as a rookie, dominate as a blocker immediately. And then whenever his name is called in the passing game, I feel like he's going to, show some flashes.
I agree with you. And then Richie, unfortunately, we know this way too well. Injuries happen in the NFL. It's inevitable. It's always going to happen. And now you feel comfortable with this tight end room because you brought in three legitimate pieces. Tyler Conklin, CJ Uzomah, and now Jeremy Ruckert, who we're here to see today. He might not be, a star in year one, but this is someone who I look at and I think he can develop into a really solid player. And like you said, he's going to be such an asset in the run game. I think that's really where he thrived at Ohio State, but I think there's some untapped potential as a receiver as well.
No, 100%. I mean, you look at the talent that he displayed at Ohio State, and even though he did not get the ball thrown to him a lot, when the ball did get thrown his way, what did he have? A one-handed catch in the back of the end zone, another one-handed catch here. He shows the yak ability. I mean, he has the receiving talent within him, and he just wasn't utilized at Ohio State. So I feel like now he has a chance to not only have CJ Uzomah and Tyler Conklin to learn from, but the system that relies on tight ends. So I really am excited to see what he's going to do. And even if all three tight ends are healthy, I think Ruckert's still going to be impactful. Absolutely.
And another tight end who is still sticking around, and we have a question from Ricky Lopez. He wants to know if Kenny Yeboah is still in the mix. He hasn't heard his name anywhere. What's your take? Do you think he makes a roster?
Kenny Yeboah, the game-winning preseason touchdown from James Morgan last year. I'll never forget that. But honestly, when Kenny Yeboah's name was called at the end of the season last year, I remember he had a couple, was that against the Buccaneers?
Yep.
He did show some flashes. I mean, we do have a deep tight end room. Don't even forget about Lawrence Cager, who transitioned into a tight end, who actually made a lot of noise in camp. We also have Trevon Wesco, who was with Zach Wilson and the entire squad down in over in Idaho. So there's a lot of players at the tight end room, and we're deep there. And it's really fun because the one criticism I've had about Joe Douglas throughout his entire tenure with the Jets finally got answered. And that was him addressing the tight end room. And what he did this offseason to revamp it, thank you, Joe Douglas, because last year the tight end room was abysmal. Now we're talking about Kenny Yeboah as a potential tight end number 4. We're like, where is he at? And we're so excited about the 3 ahead of him. So
right.
I'm excited, man.
No, and another thing, too, like you mentioned it yourself there, with Kenny Yeboah last year down the stretch, I don't know about you, but that was probably the tight end that I had the most confidence in. And now he's at best tight end 4. So I just think it really goes to show the changes that Joe Douglas has been able to make for this team and the positive changes too. I mean, tight end was probably, I don't think this is a shocking statement to say. It was probably their weakest position last year, but now it's a strength, no?
Oh, it is 100% a strength. And I am not kidding when I say this. It might be a little over the top, but I if you guys play fantasy, I would draft Tyler Conklin because I think that man is going to go crazy this year in the receiving game. I think he's going to lead the tight ends in receptions and receivings. I feel like CJ Uzomah might lead the Jets in touchdowns because he made that red zone target. But Tyler Conklin, man, what he did at Minnesota last year when his name was finally called, like, this man is an animal. And he was also the only tight end healthy for the Jets in camp, so he has a little edge over Uzomah and Ruckert in terms of chemistry with Zach Wilson. But I feel like Tyler Conklin is going to be a monster, and not to mention the veteran of CJ Uzomah. I mean, with the system that LaFleur runs with his tight ends, there's no reason to believe that the Jets could have one of the best tight end rooms in the AFC. And I might sound a little over the top, but look at it on paper. I mean, it really is, the talent's there, especially with the system.
You're right. And we have a couple super chats to get to, so I'm going to pull those up on the screen right now. John Perez wants to know, does Ruckert watch your guys' content? Richie, I know you talked to him before a little bit. Did he mention perhaps knowing you at all?
So I went up to Jeremy and I was like, yo, what up, Jeremy? How are you? He's like, what's up, bro? I was like, yeah, remember me? I met you at Ralph's. He's like, yeah, I remember you. I was like, yeah, so good luck with everything. I don't know if he's familiar with my content. I think he just remembers me going to the Ralph's, but you never know. Some of these players do watch us. I know Elijah Moore recognized JetsMedia, so I wouldn't be shocked if some players watch our content because we're talking about them. And I feel like, why wouldn't they want to listen to some Jets fans instead of some, beat reporters that's writing crazy stuff?
Yeah, and that's another thing too. Like, people always want to say, "Oh, I don't pay attention to the noise. Like, I'll just go in and do my job, blah blah blah." But you're telling me these guys don't Google their names? Like, how could you not, Richie? If you're an NFL player, how could you not want to Google your name to see what people are saying about you?
Yeah, and that's the hard thing about being a professional athlete or any figure in this world is the social media. If you're a big name, you're being talked about either in a positive or a negative light. And that's why I always say the great ones in this world, whether it's sports or any industry, are the ones that can cancel out the noise. And that's why I believe in Zach Wilson, because he's canceling out the noise, baby. He's not listening to any of this stuff.
No.
He didn't even have phone service throughout this past week.
No, not at all.
And look at that screen right there, Matt. Sophomore leap, Zach Wilson. They can't stop talking about the Jets. They're on ESPN right now.
I wish we had a camera person too to pan for us, but we have a Zach Wilson question that we can get into, by the way.
Perfect.
Did Zach Wilson hook up with Stifler's mom? Veraldo De Jesus wants to know.
I wouldn't be shocked, man. That's my guy. Zach Wilson. This is what I said at the end of my Zach Wilson video after all this stuff came out. I see you, Zach. I see you. Keep doing you, man. Keep doing you.
Listen, this is a storyline in the offseason that I don't mind talking about because it's a fun one. It's not anything serious. It's not like he's in any legal trouble. Unfortunately, we see that way too often in the NFL. Can we just laugh at the story and move on? It's not really a big deal.
It's not a big deal at all. I mean, the entire NFL world is making memes in a positive light about it. And, if Zach Wilson balls out this year, he becomes the new fan favorite around the league. Outside of Jets fans, obviously we're going to be rooting for Zach Wilson regardless as a Jets fan base. But around the NFL, all of a sudden, if Zach plays well and he makes that big step, he's going to have a top jersey sell. I'm not even kidding. Everyone's fallen in love with him already.
So we're going to get back to Zach in a second, but I just wanted to give a shout out to Snowball, who we met today. He says, nice meeting you guys. Let's go Jets.
Right there.
There he is. Yeah.
Snowball. Appreciate you.
We put your comment on, Snowball. There we go.
Nice to meet you too.
Love that. But yeah, with Zach. So for my day job, I work for Odds Checker US, which is a odds comparison site. And we had an article go live today talking about how bettors have been betting on Zach Wilson to win the MVP like crazy after this news came out.
And look at that guy. Sorry to cut you off, but that guy is betting the under for the Jets 5.5.
I don't know who this clown is, but he just made my you-know-what list.
The Jets are like a topic on ESPN. We're everywhere. So what was your thing about Zach Wilson on odds checker?
That he is the most bet player to win for MVP since the news broke a few days ago.
No way. That is so crazy.
Jet fans, they come out. Now, they're giving me a hard time. They said it was probably just me making a bunch of bets on different accounts, but I can't confirm or deny that may have happened.
They caught you, Matt. Yeah. Cold-blooded. Yeah. Shout out to everybody in the chat, guys. Make sure you smash that thumbs up button if you're enjoying this live stream with JetsMedia and Matt O'Leary live from the Jets Lounge Jeremy Ruckert event. This is my first time doing a live podcast. I feel like I'm on a radio show. Usually I'm in my studio just talking to you guys in my little, apartment, but now we're live at an event. This is sick.
Yeah, this is awesome. We have a question from Ryan Thompson. He says, who will have a better year Corey Davis as wide receiver 3 or Bryce Hall as cornerback 3?
Well, Corey Davis is going to be on the field. Bryce Hall is going to probably be only on the field in certain packages.
Yeah.
So I would have to say Corey Davis because Corey Davis is a player that a lot of people are sleeping on, in my opinion. And with the addition of Garrett Wilson and with Elijah Moore entering year number 2, that's only going to free up Corey Davis even more. So I'm going to have to choose him.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think just like if you had to guess snap percentage wise of the two, Corey Davis is going to be the one who's getting on the field more. So I think as much as I like Bryce Hall a lot. I wanted him to be a starting corner, but you bring in DJ Reed, you draft Sauce Gardner. That's probably not going to happen with Michael Carter II in the slot now. But with Corey Davis, yeah, year 1 was probably a little disappointing with some of the drops. But I think he's definitely a bounce back candidate in this upcoming year. And you have to think with Zach Wilson, hopefully taking that year 2 step, that's only going to help these receiver numbers as well.
And I have to show some love to Bryce Hall because I was one of the biggest Bryce Hall fans after this season, showing him that he's going to become the long-term answer at corner. And then the Jets decided to get Sauce and DJ Reed. And I don't blame the Jets because, they want to make sure that position group is at the top tier. But Bryce Hall's a starter in this league. And it's crazy how deep we are at this position because I genuinely believe he has the talent to be a starter. Now, could he be an elite guy? I don't think so. But he has every single tool you want. And if his name is called this year, unfortunately, one of the guys gets nicked up or they use him in certain packages, I think Bryce Hall's going to ball.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we talked about it earlier with the tight ends and the depth that they have. Corner's another position you feel pretty good about depth-wise. And, guys get banged up. If Sauce Gardner has to miss time, God forbid. If DJ Reed has to miss time, God forbid. You'll feel more than comfortable with Bryce Hall and Brandon Echols now coming in as depth. But we have another question here from Defense Wins Championships. Do you think we will see Jeremy Ruckert as a fullback with Mike LaFleur's system, especially on running situations?
It's possible. He loves to use Trevon Wesco in that role. Yeah. So if Ruckert replaces Wesco, if Wesco doesn't make the roster, we'll see. I don't know if Wesco might be tied at number 4. I feel like, not saying we're sleeping on Wesco, but we might be sleeping on Wesco in terms of how the coaches look at him. I feel like he is a player that the coaching staff really likes, especially in the blocking scheme. We have him as that, we have Nick Bowden to be that fullback / tight end, right? So I feel like Ruckert has what it takes to be that guy, to be a fullback as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. And we talked about earlier when we first got here and we first went live was the blocking ability that Jeremy Ruckert has. I think if he is going to get on the field, it is going to be in running situations. And last year we saw the Jets run a lot of 12 personnel with 2 tight ends on the field. Now you have an opportunity where if you wanted to, down on the goal line, there's no reason you can't put 3 tight ends on the field.
No, absolutely, especially with the talent that they have. I mean, the biggest issue with the Jets offense last year is Mike LaFleur tried to run those type of sets, the 12 personnel, the 13 personnel earlier in the season. And if you guys don't remember, if you guys forgot, the Jets offense stunk to begin the season last year. And I think
putting it nicely.
And a big reason for that is because Mike LaFleur realized halfway through the year, holy crap, I don't have the tight ends to run this type of system. So he transitioned, he went away from that. And that's when Mike LaFleur went into Joe Douglas's office after the season and said, Joe, you got to give me tight ends. If you want this offense to click, give me tight ends. And what did he do? 2 in free agency, 1 in the draft.
Yeah, he did his job, that's for sure. We have a super chat from Dark Soldier. This team is completely different in talent and personality. No longer the same old Jets. Let's get it. Do you agree with that?
Oh, my God. I mean, look at what Zach Wilson posted today. If you guys didn't check it out,
great.
Look at Zach Wilson's Instagram and look at his story. Look at his IG story because he posted like 20 pictures about their trip to Idaho. It was Zach, Joe Flacco, Elijah Moore, Garrett Wilson, Jeff Smith, Braxton Berrios, CJ Uzama, Trevon Wesco. I don't know if I'm missing anybody else, but they had a grand old time. I mean, that's just an example of how close this team is. Like, they can hang out off the field. Yeah. It doesn't feel like they're just a team. They feel like they're really bonding off the field. And Zach Wilson always talked about that, I noticed in interviews, where, he's trying to gain chemistry and trying to build friendships and relationships because that translates onto the field.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think another big thing, too, is the culture is changing. And what I mean by the culture is changing, if they're not going to be a pushover team anymore, Robert Saleh, his just mindset is different than what we've seen from coaches in years gone by. And something else that I like from that trip, did you notice who else was there? Did you see Wayne Gretzky was hanging out with them?
Oh, too? Yeah, he was with Wayne Gretzky. Wayne put it on his Instagram as well. On a story, I believe.
Yeah. Can you imagine? Like, 1, what is Wayne Gretzky doing in Idaho? And then number 2, Oh yeah, by the way, he's hanging out with the Jets while they're doing like this practice run before training camp. It's unbelievable.
And then Wayne Gretzky's wife commented on his photo as well. So, the Gretzky family, they love Zach and the whole Jets.
Yeah, that's for sure. So gotta love that. Is Matt? Someone says is Matt busting tables. It is loud in here, but we're making the most.
How's the audio sound, guys?
I think from our end, I feel like it's pretty good. Green Bean's got some comments in here. I wanted to get him up, but these comments are going pretty quick. Where the hell was it? Oh, here we go. I'm telling you, if Zach is even a slightly above average quarterback for us, he's going to be one of the biggest stars in the league.
Yes, Green Bean.
I love that. Green Bean, thank you for supporting. Good luck in the studio build. Has he sent you any of the pictures that he's building a studio in his new house? It's gonna be epic. Yeah.
Green Bean, I love that, man. Good luck with that.
Yeah, September can't come soon enough. I can't wait to see him again at the home opener. But yeah, I'm with you, especially because this team, one, it's a New York market. And number two, in either good times or bad times, people love talking about the Jets. I mean, we've seen it as they've kind of become a punching bag. But imagine if they even had an above-average quarterback, what that would do for just the marketability of this team.
Green Bean, I just got to say this. If Zach Wilson, like you said, has an above-average season, he's going to be top 10 in jersey sales. Like, it's that simple. Like, the NFL already fall in love with him. The amount of times I've seen comments on all these Zach Wilson stuff about what's happening, it's just like, everyone's like, oh, I'm a Jets fan now. Oh, Zach, I'm rooting for Zach now. Oh, and even if they're not even Jets fans, all of a sudden everyone's looking at the Jets and they love us. So hopefully we're that team, and hopefully Zach improves to take that step. We're not expecting Zach to be elite this year, but we just want to be an above average quarterback, right, Green Bean? I agree.
I think that is more than fair expectations. As we have, if you hear a sack exchange in the background, he's calling out raffle winners. We have a question from Ryan Thompson. He says, will there be a learning issue with Zach and trying to return to the tight end heavy offense compared to a wide receiver heavy offense?
No, I don't think so. I mean, he really relied on his tight ends a lot at BYU.
Yeah.
And he relied on his tight ends a lot this past season. It just didn't really go his way because he didn't really have talent for it. I think it's only going to benefit him, man.
I think my mom just won a raffle.
Oh, your mom's here?
Yeah, my family. Let's go. Yes. I swear it's not rigged. What do we win?
Congratulations.
That's amazing. What were we talking about? Oh, the tight end heavy offense. So
it's only going to help Zach.
Yeah, I agree. And think about it. With Mark Sanchez, Dustin Keller was his best friend. They were just whenever, like, I feel like obviously you had Jericho Cotchery, right, who was super clutch for them on third downs. And obviously Antonio Holmes came up with some big plays. But when, hit the fan and it was time to pick up a big first down and big pickup, he was going to Dustin Keller. And now you have three guys you can really trust in that spot. So I think it's only going to benefit him.
It really is, man. I got nothing but, you guys already heard me if you're watching the stream, how high I am on these tight ends. And it's kind of like, I got to ground myself, Richie. Relax, okay? There's nothing happened. There's no action on the field yet, but I really have so much excitement for this tight end room. And I feel like Zach Wilson's going to rely on them a lot more than we think. I don't think there's going to be that much of an adjustment curve.
We have Everaldo back saying playoffs or bust. Do you agree with that take?
I disagree with that.
Okay.
All this season is about right now is, number one, staying healthy, right?
Yep.
And number two, Zach Wilson playing good football. Because if Zach Wilson has a bunch of games where he balls out, but they lose those games for whatever reason, whether the defense gives up a last-minute touchdown or, whatever the case may be, they finish 7-10 or 8-9 and they missed the playoffs, but Zach Wilson had a really good season and there's a lot of optimism heading into next season. I think that's a W for me. I don't think that there's a playoff mandate this year, in my opinion, but playoff mandate starts for me next year. I think after this season, we're going for the division.
Yeah, to me, it's really all about the development this year of the young guys and the young players on this team.
And like my guy Broadway Jets, NYJ Matt says, that's what it's all about. Meaningful games in December. Shout out to NYJ Matt.
Love NYJ Matt and NYJ Mike. If you're not following them on Twitter, you are missing out. Meaningful games in December. It's really not asking too much. Just be competitive. Hover around 500, and then you take that step to being a playoff team in 2023. If for some reason things break right and they win 10 games and sneak in as the 7th seed, phenomenal. That's great. But that's not my expectation. My expectation is for them to just be competitive and for this, team to, look like an NFL team again. That's really not asking too much.
Yeah, it's crazy that we have not looked like an NFL team as long as I've had JetsMedia. I started my channel when they've sucked, and they still suck to this day. So hopefully that flipped scripts on its head. And listen, I know some Jets fans really want to make the playoffs, and I want to make the playoffs more than anybody else. But I really feel like if the Jets play meaningful games in December, they're in it. And for whatever reason, they don't make the playoffs, but there's a lot of upside. Breece Hall looks like an absolute stud as a rookie running back. Garrett Wilson looks like the right pick. Sauce Gardner, all the rookies really look like they were, developing for the long run. And all the year two guys like Elijah Moore, Michael Carter, the offensive line, like if those individual players that Joe Douglas drafted are making strides, but we still miss the playoffs with a record of like 7-8 wins, I'm not going to be too upset.
No. Like we said, it's really about the growth and development. Another giveaway. A hat. Who's going to win it? We'll have to
give it to my dad, Sack.
Yeah, can you imagine? I don't know. I wish we can get this guy on camera, but there's a guy over at the bar, Richie, who looks exactly like Green Bean. Do you see him?
Oh, my God.
He's got this big,
beard.
Gray beard.
Green Bean is here in spirit.
Green Bean is here in spirit. Gotta love it. Hopefully he's still hanging out in the chat. Robert Sala is in the chat, allegedly. He says, my team is on the rise. Slugo says, defense. So, Richie, I want to get your take. What do you think about the Jets' defense this year? Obviously, 32 in the league last year. That's not going to cut it this year. What's your expectation there?
Definitely be better than last year. I think that's going to be something that Jets fans can look out for, because the Jets defense has been the identity of the squad. The past decade, we've not been a good team, but we've always had a good defense. And when we hire a head coach in Robert Saleh, who comes from a defensive background, and he comes out there with a 32nd ranked defense, a lot of Jets fans are scratching their heads. And I think a lot of things went against Robert Saleh when it comes to injuries and playing the young guys. But when you see this defense on paper, the secondary is completely revamped. We have a healthy defensive line. You got Jermaine Johnson and Carl Lawson returning. I really think the X factor of this defense is those two positions, is the edge rushers and the corners. Are we going to be able to get to the quarterback? Are we going to be able to disrupt the quarterback? Because that's what this defense is all about. And then Sauce and DJ, locking down the edge.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. This defense is really going to be built off of the pass rush. And I think losing Carl Lawson last year before the season started really derailed this defense before they even had a chance. So I'm excited to see him back in particular. What's a reasonable expectation for Carl Lawson coming back from injury, do you think?
Stay healthy. I'm not expecting to be that dominant player that we were anticipating last season, because, remember, Carl Lawson was that guy in training camp where we were like, okay, this guy's going for 15 sacks. I mean, it's ridiculous what Carl Lawson was doing in training camp last year. So most importantly, stay in the field, stay healthy, play like 13, 14 games would be great. And if you can get 7-8 sacks, I think that'll be a successful season for him. Maybe if he can get to 10, but the Jets haven't had a double-digit sack guy in I don't know how long.
Mo Wilkerson, 2015 is the last one.
Wow.
We have a question here from Lawrence. He says, can JJ and MC, so talking about this year's draft class, become the second coming of Abraham and Ellis? That's big expectations, I think.
I mean, listen, Clemens looks like an absolute dog. I mean,
he's scary.
He is a Robert Saleh pick. Like I always say on my channel, if there was one guy that Robert Saleh drafted for Joe Douglas, it was Clemens, because that man screams Robert Saleh energy.
He definitely does. And I think, I don't know if this is a hot take or not, and I have to give credit to, if you're not subscribed to the Badlands podcast, you should be, but they have compared John Franklin Myers to Sean Ellis, and I think that is spot on. So I already think we have someone there. Maybe one of those two guys turns into John Abraham. That'd be pretty sweet. But it's been a while since the Jets have had a dominant force on the edge, and it'd be pretty nice if one of these guys hits, that's for sure.
I think John Franklin Myers is one of the most underrated players on the entire Jets roster, to be honest.
I don't know how he got paid, and he is still underrated by Jet fans. I don't get that one at all. Every year, before every season starts, I usually do underrated and overrated series. And for the last 2 years, John Franklin Myers has made the underrated list. I don't know how, but he has.
If you watch the tape, I mean, he literally wins his one-on-ones pretty much every time. I mean, 8 out of 10 times he is winning his matchup. Just because he doesn't get a sack or he doesn't hit the quarterback doesn't mean that he did not do his job. This defense is more about a team than individual performances. So if you watch the tape, if you go watch each and every snap that John Franklin Myers does, he plays at 110%. He has that all-gas break mentality. He's versatile, can line up on the edge, line up on the inside. I mean, look at that Houston Texans game, bro. He literally single-handedly won us that game. He had an interception. He had 2 sacks. He just literally took over that, and that's what stars do, and I think he deserved to get paid big time.
Yeah. No, without a doubt. And we have a question from Broder here, excuse me. I'm really hoping our run game takes a step up with our hopefully improved offensive line. Brees and Michael Carter might take some pressure off of Zach. I agree with this. I think realistically what they're going to try to do here is establish the run first. And then after that, beyond that, is when they're going to build in the play action and all different kinds of stuff like that. But it's going to be a run-first offense, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be run-first offense for sure. I mean, it's crazy what Joe. Every time I keep talking about this team, I'm just like, Joe Douglas, how did you do this? I mean, we got Brees Hall and Michael Carter. Those two guys are going to be absolute studs. And then we got the veteran Tevin Coleman, who actually looked good last year when his name was called.
He was. I got to give him a lot of credit. He was better than I thought he was going to be. He still has some juice in those legs.
He really does. I mean, Tevin Coleman is a seasoned vet, and in his prime, he was a dog in Atlanta. And he was splitting the backfield with Freeman, I believe, at the time. And he's that guy that's going to help Brees Hall learn the playbook, still develop Michael Carter. I feel like this Jets offense is going to be run through those guys, and the offensive line should give Jets fans a lot of excitement. You know, a lot of things. We got another Jets.
Bill Ruckert's doing a Jets chant. Here we go.
Mr. Ruckert. I wish we could show you this.
All right, listen up. Jets.
Let's go, Jets! Oh, thank you, man.
Oh,
appreciate it. Snowball.
Snowball's the best. We love Snowball.
He gave us a raffle, so if we win this, we're going to split the hat in half.
We'll cut it right down the middle.
I have that hat. Jets!
Gotta love it.
Let's go! Yes, sir.
My dad's rocking the hat that we won right now as he's walking by.
Oh, that's your dad?
Yeah. Let's see what else we got in here. Defense Wins Championship says Michael Clemens and Kayvon Thibodeau both played 10 games and both had 7 sacks and both had identical tackles for loss. Steal. Do you think the Jets potentially got a steal with Michael Clemens?
Yeah, I think he fell in the draft to the 4th round because of his off the field stuff that, you know, I think the Jets front office did a lot of homework on to make sure that's not really an issue, that it's in the past rather than in the future. So, you know, he's a physical beast. I really think that the only thing that's going to hold him back is his mind. Is he bought in? I'm not saying these are question marks, but this is what really comes with late round picks. Does he have the drive? Does he have what it takes to really buy into the system and work on his craft and like be obsessed with the game of football? Because that's all the qualities that Saleh and Douglas are trying to implement here and the culture they're trying to bring to the Jets.
Yeah, without a doubt. And with Michael Clemens, I think fans need to maybe temper their expectation with him in year one, because the thing that I point to is the depth that they have at edge rusher. I just think it's going to be hard for him to find his way onto the field. But as a developmental piece, I mean, it doesn't hurt to take an extra swing there. I was surprised, though, that they didn't go with a linebacker or a safety with that last pick, though, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, listen, the Jets are trying to double down on the position they believe is the most important position on this entire roster, especially on the defense. You know, what did Joe Douglas say after Tyreek Hill chose the Miami Dolphins? He said, you take a $30 million wide receiver out of the game by pass rush and by getting, you know, the quarterback off balance. So I feel like, you know, on paper, the linebackers and safeties are definitely the weakest link of this entire team. But I don't know. If Clemens turns out to be a beast, then we have 2 guys to develop for the long run in JJ and Clemens.
Chrome wants to know, have you met Bill Ruckert? And yes, we have. And he, too, is a gigantic human being. He shook, like, I'm a bigger guy. I'm 6'4", and his hand ate mine like a snack. He is huge, that guy.
He is massive. I shook his hand. It was great to see him, and the entire Ruckert family's here too. His mother, I believe, his girlfriend, and the entire Ruckert family's here. So this is just an awesome event. And Ruckert, Jeremy, and his dad, definitely large humans.
Now we're gonna get back to the Jets, but I'm gonna steal the show for like 15 seconds, and then we'll bring it right back. We have a comment saying that we need Johnny Hockey on the Islanders, and if Johnny Hockey signs while we're live, I need someone to tell me, because I'm gonna freak out on live. But if anyone screws with me, I'm going to be pissed. So I feel like I'm opening myself up to get trolled right now. But I just need like a pact. We'll switch to the main cam. I'll look in the camera. Don't F with me. I need you to just like let me know if something happens. That's all. But there we go.
And also real quick, if Donovan Mitchell gets traded to the Knicks, let me know.
Yes. I mean, I'm not a basketball guy, but that would be a really cool story. He's a Mets fan. Yeah, I like Donovan Mitchell. He's a Mets fan.
Big time.
What else we got? Okay, here's another good one. Oh, we have a super chat. Let's do this first. What up, fellas? Lifelong Patriots fan here.
Ooh.
Whoa. Curious to know what you think it's going to take to win the division. Will Zach be a top 20 quarterback this year? Richie, I'll let you take this one first.
All right, so it's coming from a Patriots fan. In order for us, did he say win the division?
Yeah, what's it going to take to win the division, and then will Zach be a top 20 quarterback this
Number
year?
one, the Buffalo Bills have to just stink somehow, which I don't see happening. The Buffalo Bills are definitely, they're potentially the best team in the entire league. So for the Jets to be able to win a division, it comes down to the Buffalo Bills taking a big step backwards. And also comes down to Zach Wilson. Can he really step up to the plate with this entire playmakers around him that Joe Douglas did? So if the Jets want to win the division, Zach Wilson has to take that year 2 leap like Justin Herbert did, like Joe Burrow did. But I'm not expecting him to be that level. So I'll say this to the Patriots fan. We might not win the division this year, but we're coming for that division next year, baby. I've been saying this for a while. Next year is the year where we're going all the way. This year is where we're going to show improvement, and people are going to look around at the Jets and say, damn, that team is going to have a bright future.
Yeah, Buffalo is just too good, and I hate to say it because they're a division rival, but they're their Super Bowl favorite for a reason. Josh Allen is just unbelievable, and that roster from top to bottom, they are just so deep. I think they're the deepest team in the NFL. They have the deepest roster in the NFL, and I think they have a really good chance to win it all this year. So it's going to be very difficult to, go out and win the division. But if they are, let's not even say division, but if they're going to sneak into the playoffs, I think the way that they do that is if Zach takes a massive step, and it would take more than him being a top 20 quarterback, which I think he has a chance to do if he takes like an average step forward. But if he takes that step to being an elite borderline top 10 quarterback, then maybe at that point you're fighting for a playoff spot.
And you know what else it would take that I can't believe I didn't say this? Winning games in the division.
You're allowed to do that?
Like, that's crazy. The Jets have not been able to be competitive in their own division. So if they want to win the division, they got to win in the division. They got to beat the damn Miami Dolphins twice this year. They have to split it with the Patriots, and they have to somehow split it with the Bills if they want to have a chance at winning the division. Can we please get 2 wins minimum at the division, man? Split with the Patriots, split with the Dolphins, get swept by the Bills is my bare minimum.
Yeah, and I think that's reasonable. That's saying win 2 divisional games. That's really not asking a whole lot.
It's not. And if you guys watch Flight 2022, Robert Saleh put it on the board, and he let this team know how abysmal this Jets team has been in the division, and they have a huge gap to close, and they made it known how embarrassing it is. So that's going to wake this team up. And we played well against the Dolphins this year, both games, one of them with Joe Flacco as a starter, and we really should have beat them. But it just did not go our way for whatever reason. So we have to beat the Bills. No, we're not going to beat the Bills. Sorry. We have to beat the Dolphins. We got to beat the Patriots and be competitive against the Bills.
There we go. Zachary wants to know, who do you want more, Quan Alexander or Riley Reef?
Good question. I'm going to have to go with Riley Reef just because I know is the unpopular answer. We don't really have depth to the linebacker spot that I feel comfortable with. But Riley Reef, I just don't like our depth. Last year we had the luxury of Morgan Moses signing. And when Becton went down, Moses went in there and showed up. So if one of Fant or Becton goes down, who's stepping in? Max Mitchell?
I am not comfortable with that. If it's Max Mitchell, look, I like him as a developmental guy, but he was a 4th-round rookie. Going from that to starting in the NFL is a tough ask. Chuma Doga, Connor McDermott, not for me. That's such a tough answer because if, God forbid, anything does happen with Mekhi Becton, then you're in really, really tough shape. But at the same time, outside of C.J. Mosley, that linebacker room leaves a lot to be desired.
Absolutely. I am expecting big things from Quincy Williams. Not saying he's going to become a star or anything, but I feel like now he has his first offseason with the Jets because remember last year he got signed right before the season began. He was a waiver wire pickup after preseason. So he was kind of learning the system on the fly, didn't really have a chance to learn the playbook. He has a season under his belt with the Jets, and now we had a full offseason to understand everything, and he showed raw potential. I think the one thing that Quincy Williams, and he'll tell himself that he needs to work on, is he kind of always goes for the big plays. He kind of overcommits on things. He's a liability in coverage. So I feel like Quincy Williams could be a sleeper on the defense to really stand out a lot this year. But outside of CJ and Quincy, behind them, we'd have year 2 guys of Sherwood, year 2 guys of Nazardine. So that's really it.
Yeah. Keep talking for a second.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me get into the chat. I haven't really got a chance to see the chat. Here, answer that super chat. It's from Steven. Steven says, love that you're broadcasting live from the event. Us Jets fans appreciate the hustle. Pick one and why. Will the Jets have a better ranked O or D?
I think it's going to be offense by a pretty significant margin. And I know that's like crazy to say as Jet fans because, more often than not, it's even when they were good, it was the defense that was really carrying them. And the offense, at times was solid, but not like this elite level offense. I love the depth and I love the potential of all the playmakers. They have playmakers on offense for the first time in a really long time, and I think it's going to be fun to watch.
As Joe Douglas said after they drafted Breece Hall, playmakers, baby.
Yeah, right. But that's the thing. You have Breece Hall and Michael Carter. Like, Michael Carter was a really good rookie last year, and both of those guys can catch out of the backfield, which I think is going to make such a difference for Zach Wilson.
And you got Garrett Wilson and Elijah Moore and Braxton Berrios and Corey Davis and Tyler Conklin. I mean, I can list the playmakers. I mean, the offense on paper is exciting. I mean, if you look at this roster on offense, not only do they have a lot of talent on this team to play well this year, but the future of this offense is absolutely ridiculous with what Joe Douglas has done in the draft. And free agents are all through the draft. I mean, Breece Hall, Michael Carter, all draft picks. Elijah Moore, Garrett Wilson, draft picks. Jeremy Ruckert, draft pick. I mean, what Joe Douglas is doing is building this offense through the draft. Elijah Vera Tucker, Zach Wilson, obviously draft picks as well. So Joe Douglas really want to get his fingerprints on this offense, and he's doing just that by prioritizing that side of the ball, because I feel like the previous Jets regimes have always prioritized the defense. And while the defense was always playing well, the defense was always top of the league, but we weren't playing good football. And I feel like in today's NFL, defense always wins championships as a whole, but there's no doubt that offense is kind of taking over the league right now.
No, it is. And you have to, I don't know, look like a 21st century offense. It's really not asking too much. But I wanted to ask you, who do you think has more receiving yards this year? Do you think it's Elijah Moore or Garrett Wilson?
Elijah Moore. I really feel like if there's one guy on this Jets team to break out as a star, it's Elijah Moore. And when I say a star, I mean a player that everyone around the league outside of Jets fans look at and say, wow, that guy is legit. I want him on my fantasy team. I think he's a stud. I think he can get into the same name as all these young ascending wide receivers. I really feel like Elijah Moore has what it takes. And what he showed last year in those 5 games before he got injured was no fluke. If Elijah did not get injured to finish off the season last year, I think every Jets fans will be like, oh, Elijah Moore is a budding star. Because what he did in those 5-game stretch, Matt, was no fluke. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think it's Elijah Moore. And, Garrett Wilson, I think, has, of all the rookies, I think he has the highest floor. But I think in year one, at least, he's going to have a similar impact to what Elijah's was last year and then really take that step in the development. But I agree with you. I think if Elijah Moore's healthy and plays all 17 games, I think he has a good shot to go over 1,000 receiving yards.
I'll say this now, if Elijah Moore plays all 17 games, he's going to have 1,300 yards. I really feel like he is a player that, if healthy on the field, is going to be super impactful. And the only reason why I give him the edge over Garrett Wilson is exactly what Matt said, is he has a year under his belt. He's not going to have that rookie mind racing and worrying about where to go. Garrett Wilson's going to have rookie pains. We have to realize that this team's still young. We can't expect Garrett Wilson and Sauce and Jermaine and Breece to just come out of the gate and just be dogs right out of the gate. It's not realistic. Elijah Moore, it took him a little bit. It's same with Michael Carter to really hit the ground running, and same with Zach Wilson. Those things happen.
So Sluggo says no Becton talk. That's a relief. So I wanted to ask you what you thought about Mekhi Becton going into this year. What's your expectations for Mekhi?
I'm a big Mekhi guy. Mekhi Becton, it's that simple, man. He just got to show up and prove to the fan base, to the coaching staff, to the front office that he's healthy and available and ready to do his thing.
There he is, Sack Exchange.
Richie!
Yo!
There he is.
Sack Exchange pulling up.
Got the mic. We're going to have Jeremy Ruckert come by and do a little interview with you guys.
Actually?
Yeah?
No way.
We're in.
All right, Jeremy Ruckert's on his way.
Well, no, not now. After he's done with the signings, we'll see if we can get him to come by for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, just talk to you guys.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Love
Ruckert,
it.
stay tuned. Jeremy's going to join
Sack
the show.
Exchange, the GOAT.
Shout out to Sack Exchange.
So for Becton, I think that, actually, let me ask you this. Left tackle or right tackle for Becton?
It's crazy because I always felt like Mekhi was that guy at left tackle for the future of this team. But after what George Fant did last year at the left tackle spot, it's really hard to take him away from that. And another reason why I feel like Mekhi could transition to right tackle is, number one, he did that at Louisville a lot. Number two, Elijah Vera Tucker's now at right guard. And I feel like that package and that pair of AVT and Mekhi Becton I was so excited for on that left side for the future. And now that AVT is officially on the right side, I wouldn't be against Mekhi going on the right side too. We have the veterans of Lincoln Tomlinson at left guard, Fant at left tackle, and then we have AVT and Mekhi as the two young guns for the future.
Did you see? I wanted to ask you too. Did you see the picture that surfaced? I think it was yesterday on Twitter of Mekhi. He looks in shape to me, Richie.
Yeah, he does. I mean, it's really up to Mekhi to prove all the doubters wrong. He hears the noise. He sees the noise. We saw what Mekhi did when he came to minicamp wearing that shirt. His name is Big Bust. So it's really up to Mekhi to, prove to this league, because you guys cannot forget what Mekhi did as a rookie. He went up against top talent as a rookie and looked like a player that was no rookie. I mean, he went up against Bosa, Aaron Donald, and held his ground. So if Mekhi Becton can stay on the field and replicate his rookie season, then we got a star in Mekhi, man. He has all the potential. And I think we all knew that when we drafted him, is he's boom or bust. And the only reason why he is a bust potential is the concerns of his health. And now we're experiencing that after him having a season-ending injury last year. So hopefully he get in shape and get on the field.
So Trevor from Canada has a hot take, but I wanted to put it up there. He goes, I think Garrett is going to light it up for 1,200 yards. Well, actually 1,250 yards in that range. He's dynamic and an all-around receiver. I think that is probably lofty expectations or goals. I think maybe eventually he can get to that. But in year one, I don't know, if he plays every game, I don't think there's 800, 900 receiving yards, maybe somewhere in that range.
Listen, in this league, you never know which rookie receiver is going to pop off next. I mean, we saw Justin Jefferson do it. We saw Jamar Chase do it. Not saying he's going to replicate those seasons, but, what Trevor has to say, it's not impossible. Obviously, it's a little it's the reason why you said it's a hot take, because that's a little over the top. And if that happens, Jets fans are on top of the world. Yeah. But there's no denying that Garrett Wilson has the talent to do that. I think when Garrett Wilson hits his prime, he's going to be doing that right every single season. But for him to do that as a rookie, it's hard to expect that. So just don't expect that. If it happens, we're going to be on top of the world, baby.
Let's see what else we got. Here we go. No injuries in training camp, please. Even Elijah Moore missed some preseason games. Need full preseason from Carl, Q, and Becton. And that's Flash Gordon from Panama checking in on the stream. Love that. Look, unfortunately, injuries are just they're a part of the game, but it always feels like the Jets are snake bitten with injuries, unfortunately.
They are, man. And Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh, they said that they're going to try to go to the training staff and try to develop them and make sure that they don't avoid all these injuries. And like you said, Matt, it's a very unfortunate part of the game of football. I just hope that if there's any injuries, it's just soft tissue stuff. It's just a little tweaks here and there. It's no season-ending injuries, because, I'll never forget that moment when we got the news about Lawson at the Green Bay Packers. I mean, that just ruined my entire day. I mean, I was depressed. All my friends were like, dude, what's wrong? Why are you so depressed? Like, what's going on in your life? I was like, you don't get it, dude. Carl Lawson lighting up the training camp. They're not even into football or the Jets, so they don't know what I'm talking about.
Who the hell is Carl Lawson?
Why are you letting the Jets get to you this way, bro? What's wrong with you? I don't know, man. The Jets run my life.
They don't understand. So V-Man is in with a super chat. He goes, so I want to ask you, if the Jets get off to a strong start with 4 or 5 wins in the first half, what would your expectations be for the season at that point?
If they can go 4-5 in the first 9 games, guess what? We're going to the playoffs.
Ooh, okay. I like
because
that.
Because the second half of the schedule is so light. If they can win 4 out of those games in the 9, that's brutal. It just absolutely changes the game for everything.
Love it. Absolutely love it. I agree. I think that raises the floor a little bit. I think that then you're probably looking at that 9 or 10 win range. And if you get to, I think 10's the magic number. I think you have a shot for that last seed if you get to 10 wins. But the AFC is so stacked. Like, you could pick just about any team from the AFC West to make the playoffs. So the Ravens will be back. They'll be a tough opponent. We know we're playing the whole AFC North, so it's going to be tough.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough match. If we can get 4 wins out of those 9 games, woo, I'm going to be pumped.
Wardy NYM checks in.
Hey, my guy.
Goes, this is so sick. Have a great night, boys.
This is my guy, Wardy NYM. He is the biggest Mets YouTuber on YouTube. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him, Matt. I know you're a big Mets fan. Seen his stuff? Yes, a shout out to Wardy. Any Mets fans in the chat, make sure you guys check out Wardy NYM. Doing great things over there. Appreciate you tuning in, Tyler.
Absolutely. Love it. Answer. So someone else, Cyber Stemma? I don't know. I can't read right now. Answer 10-7 if it's a V-Man. So they agree. Yeah, 10-7. And a potential wild card spot if the New York Jets start with 4 or 5 wins in the first half of the year.
No, it really is. And I don't want to replicate what the Dolphins did last year, but remember the Dolphins started 1-7 last year, and then they went on like a crazy winning streak to get them to 9-8. So if the Jets start off really, really rough this year, and then the season, they have their bye week, and the second half of the year things ease up and they start to click, I wouldn't be shocked if they go on a little run at the end and just barely miss the playoffs. But you just have to realize the beginning of that schedule is absolutely brutal. So if we can win 4 games, oh my gosh.
I thought we just run the raffle. I got excited. I heard 2A4 and I got excited.
Oh, yeah, you're reading this?
Yeah.
I'm not even in tune.
So Hennessy Heisman, which is a great name, by the way. He says, fellas, what
Hennessy.
up? Week 1, I'm in the building. 9/11 MetLife is going to be rocking. I can't wait until week 1 this year. I know you're going to be there too, right?
We are going to be there together, man. We're going to be at the Jets Lounge. It's going to be a crazy, crazy day, man. I'm pretty sure Hennessy's pulling up the Jets Media Day as well. So shout out to Hennessy. Excited to see you on week 5.
Yes, love that. That's against Miami this year, right?
Against Miami.
So, home game against Miami, you got to think that's a winnable game.
Better be. I mean, we talked about it earlier. The AFC East is, if we want to be competitive, we got to win inside of the division. And what better to do that than winning on your home field against the Miami Dolphins, who is slowly becoming the new Jets. I mean, they've always been our rival, but I feel like it's been a little more profound this year after the whole Tyreek Hill situation.
Well, I was going to say the Tyreek Hill situation obviously enhanced it. And I think since both teams have young quarterbacks too, it's going to be like the Tua versus Zach Wilson debate too. I feel like really it's crazy, but Josh Allen's the veteran in the division because I still think of him as a young player, but he's a veteran quarterback in that division.
I mean, we have Mac Jones in the division, same class as Zach, obviously coming off a pretty good rookie season, going to the playoffs. Tua, obviously we all know what's going on with Tua in terms of his trajectory with the Dolphins. A lot of people like him. Some people don't. He has to prove himself. And then Josh Allen is unfortunately the superstar of the division. It's weird that he's the oldest.
Mitt Flair, thank you for the super chat. He says, appreciate you out here doing God's work. I met Richie in North Carolina for game 1 last season. My guy is really about this Jets life. LOL. Much love to you guys.
Mitt Flair, I remember you, man. We met at the Panthers game week number 1. That was awesome to meet you. We appreciate you showing support to Matt's channel. He's doing great things over here. We appreciate you, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to just it's really cool that the Jets are opening up at home. I feel like it's been a while that it's
finally
not only a home opener but a season opener. And last year we had such a blast at the home opener, especially at the tailgate, but then you went in and it just got out of hand early. But I'm hoping that this year is going to be a little bit different at the home opener.
The energy at that stadium when kickoff happened, before Zach Wilson threw 4 interceptions, when the JETS chants were going wild, when the all-white flags were waving in the crowd. I mean, it's ridiculous. The pregame
intros,
Dude.
It felt like a playoff game.
It really did, and it just goes to show if the Jets become a competent franchise and start winning some football games, that you're going to want to go to Jets games, man. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I like this question from Zachary. He says, do you think Justin Fields is getting the Sam Darnold treatment out in Chicago? It's hard not to agree with that. I liked Fields a lot as a prospect. He was my 2B. I had Wilson 2A and Fields 2B in that quarterback class. But I just feel so bad for him because that Chicago offensive line is still very much in question, and they don't really have a ton of playmakers.
Yeah, I feel like Justin Fields is being set up to fail, similarly to Sam, and it hurts that because you don't want to see any young quarterback have that same treatment that we gave to Sam. So, I like Justin Fields as a player. I liked him at Ohio State. And if he balls out this year, then that shows that he's a good quarterback because that means he's elevating the team around him.
So, Cyber Systema, I don't know how to say his name, says the secret is out in Lamar Jackson. Rush 5 and win. So do you expect the Jets to be blitz heavy in week 1?
I'm expecting Jordan Whitehead to be playing quarterback spy.
Yes.
And making sure that Lamar Jackson does not break free. Jordan Whitehead is a key to this defense. I feel like a lot of Jets fans are going to fall in love with his play style because if you see what he did with Todd Bowles in Tampa Bay, Whitehead is that guy to stop the mobile quarterbacks, to stop the Josh Allens, to stop the Lamar Jacksons. And I feel like Whitehead's going to be a big thing about that.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think he's going to be so good in the run game too. Obviously, they needed safety help, especially after losing Marcus May. But I think the strength of his game is, like you said, coming down to line of scrimmage and making plays in the run game. I think that's going to make such an impact on this defense.
It's going to be really hard to contain Lamar because at the same time, I feel like he's a very underrated quarterback in this league all of a sudden. people forget about what he did in his MVP season and the injuries that the Baltimore Ravens suffered last year. And the Baltimore Ravens are a really good football team. And I feel like a lot of people are forgetting that around the league simply because of last season. But Lamar Jackson it's going to be hard to contain that man because he's electric. He can take the ball to the house whenever the ball's in his hands on the ground. And, I feel like his arm is a little underrated as well.
And I agree. James wants to know, are the Jets getting their own stadium? I've been hearing rumors. Is this really happening?
I haven't heard any of that rumor.
I think it would be very, very unlikely for the Jets to get their own.
They almost got it in the city.
Yeah,
and that got vetoed. Damn it!
But it sucks. But I feel like it's so tough to have 100,000 seat stadiums so close because with the Jets and the Giants, obviously, like I don't know. I feel like if any team that has two, or any state, I guess, really that has two teams in close proximity, they're going to always share a stadium because it's just, I don't know, you use it, 8-10 times a year?
I know, it's ridiculous. It's really frustrating. You see that Los Angeles just built a brand new state-of-the-art stadium for the Chargers and the Rams. So if the Jets and Giants want to move into New York and share a stadium and make it state-of-the-art by putting their two big billion-dollar businesses together and their money, then let it happen. I mean, obviously we prefer to have our own stadium, but the reality is I'm not expecting that.
Well, how about this, Richie? How about bring the Jets back to Long Island? I think we would like that now.
I grew up, right next to where they used to practice at Hofstra.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we were both right near that. I mean, it's like
you're even closer than I am, but it's literally, I think it's 10 minutes from my house. And I remember growing up, I feel like I would go all the time to these practices and to these scrimmages and stuff. And like, I don't know. I just wish they would even come back and bring something. Yeah, come on. We're going to bring Benny and the Jets on. Give him the... Benny, how's it going, man? What do you think of the event so far?
What's up, man?
Yeah, go ahead.
You're good.
It's a hell of an event. More people showed up than I initially thought, so it's real good. Ruckert's pretty humble, pretty cool. The food is great. The environment's great. His dad's a legend, obviously, with the Jet chant, the beer chug.
You did a beer chug over there?
Yeah.
Oh, we missed it. That's it. So we heard the Jets chant, but we didn't see him do the beer chug.
Yeah, the beer chug killed it in like 2 seconds. Legend. But this is fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah, so we were talking a lot about expectations for this year and week 1 against Baltimore. What's your take? Do you think the Ravens is a winnable game for the Jets in week 1?
I think so, because if there's any chance that you have against Lamar, it's when you have a long time a game plan for it. Our defense, we hopefully could get to the quarterback this year. Our offense is versatile. I know they have a great secondary, but we have a lot of weapons that they're going to have to guard. So it's not like they're going to be able to isolate just Elijah Moore anymore. And I think our offensive line has the potential to be top 10. So if we control that line of scrimmage, I don't see why we can't control the game, control the line, and come out with a victory.
So you mentioned the Jets' offensive line could be top 10. What makes you think that this O-line could become that?
Obviously, we know right guard was our weakest link last year. Now we're all hoping Elijah Vera-Tucker takes that year 2 leap that he's bound to take. Obviously, we got an all-pro who's been in championship games, who's been in Super Bowls. We can't discount that. And obviously, with a healthy Becton coming in with a chip on his shoulder and Fant coming out looking for a new contract. So, players looking for those new contracts always show out. And like I said, Becton coming in with a chip on his shoulder. I'm excited. I wouldn't want to be in front of him.
Yeah, I'm with you there. And we got to talk about Slogo's favorite player here, Mekhi Becton. What's your expectation there for him? Do you think he plays on the left side or the right side?
I think he's going to compete very hard for that left tackle position. I think at this point, I feel like the coaching staff probably has an idea where they want to go. I think Fant coming off a really good year, looking for that new contract. I think they'll still give it to him, give that left tackle position to him. And Elijah Vera-Tucker and Becton, we envision them on the left side, but just putting them on the right side would be fantastic either way. And I know Becton has that experience in college playing right tackle, so I think he'd fit in like a glove.
I love that you're a big Mekhi fan because I myself, and I feel like a lot of Jets fans are questioning him. Yeah. Let's transition to the man of the hour, the reason why we're here. Yeah. Let's talk about Jeremy Ruckert. What are your expectations for him as a rookie? He's going to be behind Tyler Conklin. He's going to be behind CJ Uzomah. What's your thoughts of him as a rookie and his trajectory with the Jets?
My biggest thing with him is the fact that obviously we know at Ohio State, they didn't utilize him as much in the pass game. He has that ability to do so. But what's great, not just about Ruckert, but about all our rookies, that we're not expecting them to come in and deliver right away. We have veterans ahead of now. Typically, like last year, if we drafted a Garrett Wilson, we're expecting him to hit 1,000 yards. Now we have Elijah. Now we have Braxton again. Now same goes for Ruckert, where it's like you could come in, play your game, develop at your pace. So in a year, if one of these guys are no longer on the team, whether it be CJ or Conklin or whoever the case may be, then he could come in and show out. But I think this year is going to be a development year for him. He's going to learn the system. I think he's going to play more than probably more people expect. Injuries always happen, and we know both of our tight ends currently ahead of him do have a slight history with injuries. So I expect him to be on the field, and I expect him to do really good things for sure.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think his receiving ability was really underutilized and maybe even underappreciated at Ohio State. And I think, like you said, maybe not in year one, but if there's an injury, he'll come in and play. But I think, and we talked about it earlier too, we think that maybe in packages they can get him on the field in running situations to get his blocking skills in there too.
100%. His blocking ability, you've seen it at the Senior Bowl. Everyone said he's a dog.
Yeah,
he gets after it in the run game, and I think we're going to be running the ball a lot. So just like you said, we're going to be able to fit him in certain packages where he could utilize that skill. And who knows? We do that enough times, the defense is going to expect it to be a run play, and you sneak him out to the flat, and boom. His athletic ability, his size, he could be a danger in open field.
And what's your thoughts of Joe Douglas completely revamping the tight end room? Because we drafted Jeremy Ruckert, but we also bring in Uzama and Conklin, who were both at tight end university this past offseason. So what's your expectations for the tight end room as a whole, as a position?
Obviously, all we heard last year was that the Jets offense is tailored around the tight end. And unfortunately, we didn't have that. A capable, reliable tight end. I think that tight end room is going to be not only revamped, but I think it's going to do wonders for Zach's development, where he has 3 big body guys who could go out there, are going to be in the right position, and are going to make the catch. All 3 of these guys have very soft hands, and they're not here to drop the ball. They could all block. And Joe Douglas, kudos to him. I know all Jets fans love him right now, and obviously he needs to translate to wins, but he did a hell of a job revamping this room. And we're going to go – it's going to be a very, very interesting year.
I love it. So we'll let you go with this record prediction. We're going to put you on the spot. What's the Jets' record at the end of the year?
Call me crazy. I think we get 10-7.
Boom. Love it.
There we go.
Yes, sir. 10-7. Are we going to the playoffs with that record? 7 seed?
I believe we make the playoffs and shock the world.
Oh, Benny coming in with the bold takes. I absolutely love that, man. That's 10 wins. How you guys feeling about that in the chat?
Yeah, let us know in the chat.
I want 10 wins.
10 wins. Is it fair? Is it reasonable? Let's see. We'll see what they're saying in there. We haven't heard anything yet, but I think they're going to love the optimism, and this is what it's all about right now before the season starts, is all about that optimism train, and it should be a fun year with this Jets team.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I definitely appreciate you guys allowing me this moment right here.
Yeah,
man.
Man.
You guys are dope.
You're a natural. Why don't you, for the people that don't know what you're doing with Jets Lounge, just tell them what you got going on over there.
Yeah, so practically I got the Monday morning show on Jet Lounge. Benny Blanco with 4 O's on Twitter. We're just going to keep doing a lot of events like this. Keep an eye out, and obviously you guys subscribe to these guys, but these guys do a hell of a job. So like I said, I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, man. Check out Benny on Twitter, and of course,
is.
check out the Jets Lounge on Twitter. They're hosting a phenomenal event. This is not the last one that they'll be doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you for Benny, as always. And we're going to go back to the comments in here. We got 7 and 10 definitely can happen. We love that. Jets Lounge, FTW. I love the optimistic approach. Love it. I mean, Richie, this is what it's about, man. Like, before the season, I feel like now is the perfect time for where you should be optimistic about this team.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Jets fans are very cautious, because I feel like every offseason we're always hyping up this team to be something, exceeding expectations, and maybe they've not really met those expectations yet.
Right.
In terms of the expectations we put on them in the offseason. But this one feels different, because there's not a lot of expectations that are from the national media in previous years. But this year, a lot of people are expecting big things, and that's where it gets a little tricky, because that means that there's some expectations that if they don't get to them, then it's going to be a big deal.
yet. So we have Joe the Jet G says Garrett Wilson reminds him of Justin Jefferson. He will be a big-time number one receiver. Thoughts on the Jay Jettas comparison?
Hey, man, when someone said there's a hot take that Garrett Wilson's going to go for 1,300 yards, I said, hey, we've seen Jamar Chase do it. We've seen Justin Jefferson do it. And Garrett Wilson is pretty talented. And you can say that he's just as talented as those two guys coming out of college. So I feel like Garrett Wilson has what it takes if he stays healthy and learns the playbook really quickly and his mind is right, because I think that's the only thing that's going to hold back Garrett Wilson in his rookie season. He's going to be able to master the playbook. He's going to be able to learn the speed of the NFL immediately, because that's a big, transition. Guys like Justin Jefferson, guys like Jamar Chase, the transition from the college game to the NFL game, there was no transition. They were just in college again. So I feel like Garrett Wilson has the talent, and I feel like he's extremely intelligent to do that. So we'll see.
Absolutely. We have Mutt Viles hanging out. He says, what's up, boys? Couldn't make it tonight. How's it going so far?
Shout out to my guy.
Shout out to Mutt Viles. He's an OG. He's a legend. You should know him if you hang out in the chat. Yeah, it's been a blast so far, Richie. The atmosphere has been great. There's been a ton of Jet fans coming out, and it's been a good time.
Yeah, I met him at the Elijah Moore meet and greet. So shout out to my guy. I appreciate you tuning into the stream.
He says 12-5 record, by the way. So he's very optimistic.
He is an optimistic Jets fan. I remember we were talking some Jets on the line to meet Elijah, and he's hyped up about the Jets. I love that.
So Chris chimes in. He goes, Zach Wilson, 4,000 yards, 25 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. I think that's pretty reasonable. I think there's a world where that happens.
If that happens, he is all over the place in the NFL. He is a fan favorite, because this is the type of stat line that I've been waiting for a Jets quarterback to put up, not named Ryan Fitzpatrick, for a long time.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, the Jets really haven't had a stud quarterback season since that Fitzpatrick year. And he threw, I think it was right under 4,000 yards. He had like 31 touchdown passes, but obviously we know
franchise record.
We know how that season ended, unfortunately. So it's time. You definitely need some stepping up from the quarterback position would be nice.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like, Zach Wilson is the second overall pick. He had his rookie season. He struggled as a rookie at the start off the year. He gets injured, comes back, proves to be a guy that's, trending upwards. So, there's not going to be a lot of leeway for him this year. I feel like if he stinks it up and doesn't look like an NFL quarterback, it's going to be a really, really big deal. So if he doesn't take at least a big jump somehow, 9 touchdowns to 11 picks last year, the completion percentage, the numbers, his quarterback rating, if you look at the box score in terms of the numbers, he was just not a good quarterback statistically. But you saw the flashes at the end of the season that should give Jets fans a lot of excitement when all of his playmakers were down. He was relying on Braxton Berrios as his number one receiver at the end of the season, and he was going toe-to-toe with the greatest player of all time and Tom Brady, and almost beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And those throws he was making was legit. Even asked Jordan Whitehead. Zach Wilson zipped it over his head to Keelan Cole at that 2-yard line, and Jordan Whitehead mentioned that when they asked him when he signed with the Jets about his thoughts about Zach Wilson, he brought up that exact throw.
Yeah, and that was probably I know they didn't win the game, but that was probably Zach Wilson's best game as a pro. I thought from start to finish he was locked in, and I think if we see more of that from Zach this year, then obviously the Jets are going to be in pretty good shape there. And I mean, look, it's his second year. That's the expectation, to take that step forward. Not a rookie anymore, and I think the numbers will start to show.
Yeah, and it's funny because that game against the Bucs, it wasn't his best game stat-wise, but it was 100% his best game as a pro. He has a lot of games, rookie of the week here, rookie of the week there against the Titans, and those other games where he flashed against the Jaguars with that crazy rushing game. But that game against the Buccaneers, if you guys haven't yet, go rewatch those highlights, because he was making real NFL throws, stepping into the pocket, scanning the defense, third down, converting. He was doing a lot of things where you're like, wow, that kid's got it. And he has everything you want in a quarterback physically. It's all about him putting it together mentally.
So Philip chimes in. He says, did you see Wilson's IG post? Amazing leadership. I'm at the main event. Looking good, guys. Shout out to Philip, who's hanging out here. So did you see the post?
Oh, of course I saw the post. First of all, I absolutely love that Zach Wilson is organizing, getting all of his teammates on a retreat to a golf course, I believe, throwing some footballs around. Not only doing that, but they're going golfing. They were going wakeboarding. They were swimming. They were, they were doing a lot of fun things, playing basketball. I saw pictures of Zach and Garrett Wilson balling it up. So if you guys don't follow Zach on Instagram, go check his Instagram out. Not only his post was awesome, but his Instagram story has like 25 pictures of all our guys, CJ Uzama, Wesco, Jeff Smith, Braxton, all just enjoying life. And that's what it's about, man. Getting that chemistry off the field goes a long way.
Yeah, I think that's super important too. And I thought it was cool of him too in the offseason to go around and we saw like Mark Sanchez had the Jets West where the guys flew out and they had like that week together out in California. But I like that he was proactive and took that step and was going to the different locations to where these guys were in the offseason to train with them.
Yeah, it really shows you the type of leadership Zach is off the field, and you want your quarterback to be that guy, to be that floor general. He's young. It's not like, that they're just gonna respect Zach Wilson because he's the quarterback. I feel like Zach Wilson's the type of player to really build those relationships, and he understands that he needs to gain that trust with his teammates, and he's doing just that.
King Blaze says even Ray Lewis wants to play for the Jets right now. LOL. So I mean, he's not wrong. Like the whole NFL world just came out in support of Zach Wilson. It was a fun story this week.
Chad Ochocinco he's the biggest Zach Wilson fan on the planet. I think he's been a Zach fan before this whole thing that came out about Zach. Chad Ochocinco, if you don't follow him on Twitter, every other tweet is about how Zach Wilson is a GOAT.
Ooh, this is an interesting question from our guy Joe the Jet. He says, if the wide receivers were all healthy, do you guys think we beat the Buffalo Bills in Week 18?
We don't verse the Bills. We verse Miami
last year.
Oh, last year. My bad. That was a close game. We did play good football. Yeah. I mean, that fourth down conversion that Zach had to Keelan Cole. And you know what was awesome about that play? And I only know this because of Zach Wilson breaking down the film in Flight 2022.
Yeah.
Where if you guys remember, the game, I think it was Week 3 against the Denver Broncos. That play where it looked like one of the worst orchestrated plays I've seen as a Jets fan, where 3 guys are running the same route over the middle and they're running into each other. And you're just like, what is going on? This offense stinks. LaFleur doesn't know what he's doing, all this stuff. And then you go all the way into Week 18 and then they run the same exact play. They know the timing. Keelan Cole knows that he has to wait a couple seconds before he runs his route, and it turns into a 4th down, 40-yard touchdown. So that's called progression. That's called the Jets system really taking those strides and understanding where they need to go with the football. Because, guys, reminder, the offense is not only about the quarterback. The wide receivers need to do their job. And on that play against the Denver Broncos, they did not do their job. And then they did their job properly in Week 18, and it turned into a touchdown.
Yeah, that was a really tough game for Zach Wilson, obviously. He was running for his life. I think he was hit like 18 times in the game, which is just insane. But yeah, I think if they were healthy, they would have had a more competitive shot. But they hung around for a while, but then it just became too much for them at the end, which understandable.
Tariq Black was getting some crazy catches on the sideline.
I forgot about him. This is a good comment from Ryan. He comes in and says, with so many weapons, unfortunately, someone is going to be left out. Who do you think is most likely to be left out?
You know who's not going to be left out? I'm going to flip this question on your head.
Okay.
Braxton Berrios. My man, Honey Nut Berrios, is about to be utilized in this offense way more than people expect, because last year, when his name was called, I mean, listen, he was utilized a lot last year because of the injuries.
Yeah.
But I do expect LaFleur to get that man on the field. But when it comes to the players to be left out, I don't know, man. Maybe Corey Davis? I don't know. I feel like it's hard.
I think Corey Davis's numbers are going to be lower than what people are expecting, but I think he's going to be better. I don't know if what I just said makes sense, but what I mean is, like, he might not be the focal point of the offense, which pretty much when he was healthy, that's what he was last year. But I think when he does get his targets, he'll be a nice safety valve for Zach. Because, I don't know, he's a little bit different. He's not as fast as Elijah Moore, Garrett Wilson, or even Braxton in the slot. He's a little bit of that bigger body guy, so I think he gives his offense a different dynamic.
He's also a very underrated route runner. Like, he knows he's a route runner technician. He's not quick. He's not like a quick route runner like Elijah Moore, but he just knows how to plant his foot in the ground and create separation. And remember, Zach Wilson was relying on Corey Davis to start off his NFL career. So the chemistry is there. And now Zach Wilson doesn't have to worry about force feeding Corey Davis anymore because he has all the other weapons around him.
Johnny D wants to know, what time does the autograph signing start?
Started at 6 p.m.
Yeah, we're about a little over halfway through. We got people shuffling through. It's on the other side of the camera. So I wish we could show you guys, but we're hanging out. We got people walking by, but it was pretty packed when we first came in here. It's there's still a decent sized crowd, but it's I don't know, it's not the same vibe when we first started.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, they're doing a great job here with the Jets Lounge to be able to orchestrate an event like this, a private event, to get Jeremy Ruckert and his entire family to pull up. Like Matt said, they're behind the camera, so you guys can't see it, but the entire Ruckert family sitting right over there, his mother, his girlfriend, his father, and some other people that are involved with the Ruckert family.
I like this comment from King Blaze. He goes, everyone is going to eat. That is what's going to confuse the defense. And, I agree with that because, some weeks maybe it is Elijah Moore. Other weeks maybe it's Garrett Wilson. And, the tight ends, we went down the line. There's just so many ways that this Jets offense can beat you. I'm excited to see what Mike LaFleur draws up because he got really creative last year, especially when some of these guys were missing time. I always think back to the trick play game. I think it was against Miami with the throwback with Braxton Berrios. I thought that was extremely creative, and I'm curious to see what he draws up.
We haven't had an offensive coordinator like this since I don't know how long. But listen, if everyone's going to eat, they're going to eat, and that's what's going to keep the defense on their toes, like he said. And there's nothing wrong with having too many playmakers, and that's exactly what Joe Douglas said. And my biggest thing going into this offseason, before it all happened, I said on my channel multiple times, I want Joe Douglas to spoil Zach Wilson to the point where when he walks on the field, he's like, holy crap, I don't know what to do with this football. There's way too many weapons, and I'm overwhelmed. And that's exactly what Joe Douglas did.
Rogue Nugget wants to know, are you all going to interview Jeremy Ruckert soon? We're hoping that when this event is over, that he comes over. He's signing till 8, so we have more time. We're going to be live for probably at least another 45 minutes, so we're hanging out for a while, so don't go anywhere, Rogue Nugget and the rest of the group here. Dan from New York, what's your best case scenario for Denzel Mims?
Take advantage of first of all, show up in training camp, that prove to the coaching staff that you're worth being on the field. And number two, if your name is called, be impactful, because the reality is last year his name was called, but he wasn't impactful at all. He dropped the touchdown. He had multiple pre-snap penalties, and he just didn't look like a wide receiver that belonged in the league, unfortunately. But there's no doubt that he has all of the physical talent to make it in this league. It's just mental for him, I think.
Yeah, because what I keep trying to tell people is you can't teach 6'3" and 4.3 speed, but last year it was awful. It was really, really bad. And this year I think he has to come back a little bit, mental reset and focus. But I will give him credit with him being in the best shape of his life. I think it shows how much he realizes that it's do or die this year, which that's kind of where I put it at for this year. If he balls out, then he'll probably stick around. But if he struggles, they might cut bait.
And Robert Saleh said in a press conference this past offseason that him and Joe Douglas look at their draft picks and give them 3 years. And that's where you can really look at a player. Even if they have 2 crappy years, they're still going to give them that chance in year 3, because you cannot prematurely write off a bust after the rookie season or even after your number 2 season. So like Matt said, this is a big opportunity for Denzel Mims to show up and to give Denzel Mims the benefit of the doubt. This is his first offseason where he's not battling any type of injury or illness. Remember last year he was not able to go through OTAs, and I think people tend to forget how important an OTA is, because it's not about the physical reps, it's the mental reps that OTAs really brings you, understanding a scheme, knowing where to go with the football. And unfortunately for Mims, this is a complex system to understand as a wide receiver. You need to know 3 different spots.
Got another hat giveaway. Check our ticket. Let's go.
284-078.
Not us. It's not us.
I almost wore that exact hat that they're giving away, but I went with the Mekhi Becton draft hat.
Yeah, I like that one. Well, the last couple were pretty good, actually. We had another one in here that I wanted to get into. That way. Damn it, I just had it. Sorry. Okay, we could do this one from Ryan. How would you rank our offense weapons positions based off effectiveness? Wide receiver, tight end, running back. So we'll rank in order, I guess, most effective. With wide receiver, tight end, the running back for this year.
I think running back potentially could be 1, and that's crazy because the wide receivers on paper looks great. But what we've done with this running back room in the past 2 drafts, I think Hall is going to absolutely ball out. And then I think it would go wide receivers and then tight ends for me.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go running back, wide receiver, tight end. Because, I don't know, Breece Hall is he's built different. And I'm usually not someone who likes to take running back super high up in the draft. But I think with him, you can make the case that, one, it wasn't a first rounder, and you already had so many other picks early on. You kind of justify it a little bit. But he's going to make such a difference. And he's tailor-made for this offense, Breece Hall, and I think he's going to bring a physicality that the Jets didn't have. And I mean, I know you're a big Michael Carter fan, as am I, and that 1-2 punch I think is going to be really fun.
Yeah, and the thing about the running back position is running backs are in their prime on their rookie contracts. I feel like it's one of the only positions in the league where you're expected to be impactful immediately. Now, I'm not expecting Hall to go for 150 yards and a touchdown in week number 1, but I'm definitely expecting Hall to establish himself as one of the best young running backs in the entire league this year, because what he did in college was no fluke. I mean, it was literally sensational. Every time the ball was in his hands, he was able to take it to the house. 5 times he had a 75-yard plus touchdown.
Yeah. We have a super chat from Eastman. He says, "Sup guys, talking about weapons. Evans, Brown, Godwin, similar core, Davis, Moore, Wilson, Berrios. What do you guys think?" So is it going to be similar to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers core that had Evans, Brown, and Godwin?
I mean, the Buccaneers' weapons are pretty deep, and there's a lot of them. And I feel like we're 4 receivers deep, because you got to throw in Berrios in that mix. And I'm happy that he did mention him in that super chat. I think that we have 4 very quality wide receivers that are also very different, and that's going to benefit the Jets.
Yeah, I don't know if I would go as far to put them in that same category. I think that's unfair to these guys, because as much as we like these guys, Richie, they're still unproven to an extent at the NFL level. So they got to prove it. Again, expectations are high this year, so I think we'll be able to have this conversation going into 2023, but I'm definitely excited for this wide receiver group.
Absolutely. On paper, they're definitely the best at going into a season we've had. I mean, remember 2 seasons ago, we had Brashad Perriman as number 1 receiver, and trying to convince ourselves that the last 4 games of the past season was like, oh, is he going to be able to do that? No. Now we actually have legit players on this team on paper, not only young talent, but we got a veteran in Corey Davis, who I think is very important for this team. Not only his impact on the field, but you need that captain, you need that veteran presence in that locker room at that position. I feel like Corey Davis is going to only help Garrett Wilson, transition into the league.
So Dave wants to know, have you guys heard any rumors on the alternate jerseys? I haven't. Have you heard anything?
I have not, but I am hoping that is the vintage Jets 80s helmets, because we're seeing a lot of teams. I think the Houston Texans just released their alternate helmets. There's no doubt that there's going to be an alternate helmet for the Jets and in a uniform, but they haven't really released it yet.
Woody Johnson teased us because a few weeks ago, someone tweeted out, it might have actually been him, tweeted a Ken O'Brien highlight, and he was like, how about those helmets? Like, these logos, we've been begging for this logo to come back in alternate form. Like, don't tease us like that.
Come on, Woody. Woody knows what the people want, man. Ever since Woody came back, he's active on social media, whether it's him or an intern. I don't know who it is that's running it, but he's definitely pretty funny on social media. I know that you're a big Woody Johnson TikTok fan.
I can't get enough of his TikToks. I don't know who's running it, but I absolutely love it.
The Jets social team is awesome. When I was at the premiere, I got to meet the people that actually ran the social team, and they do a great job. They're just awesome.
Yeah, they really do. We talked a lot about the Flight 2022, and I think they just do a tremendous job, the video crew, and going through. Could you imagine the hours of film that they probably had to go through in order to make that?
He talked about it actually before at the premiere at One Jets Drive. The head of the entire production company for One Jets Drive Productions talked about it, and he said that they went through 600, 700 hours worth of film. And it took them 6 months to really compile it all into these 5 episodes. And they also said this, which I really love, that without Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas's openness to allow those cameras in those buildings, none of this is possible. So he gave a huge shout out to Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh to allow those cameras and trust them that they're not going to show too much. And I feel like they did the right thing. And their Emmy Award nomination for a reason. Yep. And if you guys have not watched Flight 2022, make sure you do so, because you learned so much about this team. And you thought you loved Joe Douglas, you're going to love him even more after this.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. And I think a big thing for me too, with, like you said, the openness. And, that's not always a given. We've seen coaches be a little bit more reserved. Like, that would never happen up in New England, but I think it's cool to show a behind the scenes like that. And they didn't give away too much. A lot of it is stuff we already knew, or things that weren't super surprising. But I mean, at the end of the day here, I still think it's important to, show that. We're on YouTube at Matt O'Leary. No, you're good.
You're good. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah. We got someone coming in. It's Matt O'Leary NY on YouTube.
That's what we're live on right now.
Yeah, and you'll see us pop up.
Nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you.
And then my channel is called JetsMedia. So we both have separate channels. We're live on his right now. Appreciate you, man. I love the Chad Pennington jersey.
Yeah, we got this guy's rocking the chat. Can I switch over? We don't see him.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
This guy used to. What'd you do? If you don't mind, you're not on camera, but you don't have to say if you don't want to.
What'd you do for the Jets when you worked for them? Communications. That's awesome. Oh wow, look at that. Here, I'll do it. Yeah, that's us. No, you're good.
Richie just subscribed him for me. This is great. We're getting subscribers here.
So that's his channel. This is us live right now, in case you're curious.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We appreciate that. Yeah, so this is us live right now. I just pulled it up, and I'll show you.
What was your favorite? We'll just go through questions as we're doing this too. Favorite moment from Flight 2022? Coming what?
Oh,
hell yeah!
And that's my channel. Since you're wondering.
Favorite moment from Flight 22?
Oh man, it's the whole montage of Joe Douglas trading up for Jermaine Johnson. First of all, it's Woody Johnson giving him the okay. I don't know if you picked up on that, but Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh were talking about it, and Joe Douglas was like, "Woody, he's sliding," and Woody's like, "Do it, Joe." And then you see Joe Douglas just relentlessly on the phone, doesn't stop calling. Denied. And the way they edited that with the music, it was so perfect. And then when he got him, he's like, "We're on the effing clock."
It was such a great line. We're on the effing clock. He was so pumped to get Jermaine. That was definitely
and then Ulbrich comes back into the room. He wasn't in the draft room anymore.
Was so
he's like,
pumped.
Who do we get? And then you find out later on that Ulbrich wanted him to be the pick at 10. So
yeah, absolutely. We have a super chat in here.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, come around.
Pick.
Come around. This guy is gonna get on camera. Let's get him in here.
I'll put it on my page.
Okay, yeah, he's gonna put it on his page.
Appreciate
you got sunglasses inside.
Thank you.
Awesome. This is phenomenal. So we got a super chat from Brooklyn Jets. He goes, "Just realized Matt looks a little bit like Jake." Shocking. Every single person who's ever had reddish brown hair in the history of human history, I get compared to, but love it. Richie, love your perspective on the Jets. What's your all's take on the secondary being suspect? I feel as though it can be better than some people think.
Yeah, I really feel like this is the year where the Jets are on the map in terms of around the league. I really feel like the talent that we have, it's a likable group as well. We have a group that cares about one another. We have a group that is buying into the all gas, no break mentality that Robert Saleh is really implementing here. And I just feel like this team is going to shock a lot of people this year. Not saying we're going to go all the way, go to the Super Bowl or anything, but if the Jets are playing meaningful games in December and we have a bunch of guys on offense that's playing well and playing, just impactful stats wise and winning wise. And we listen, Zach Wilson, for example, his play style, I've always said this, but even when we drafted him, Matt, his play style where if he does click and Zach Wilson lives up to the second overall pick and he becomes our franchise quarterback, he has so many qualities that reeks star NFL fans gravitating towards. I don't want to compare him to Mahomes, but he kind of has that, uniqueness to him where he has the flashiness to him where things go a little array. He scrambles out of the pocket and he can make a crazy highlight play, and he showed flashes of that as a rookie. So I feel like we have a lot of likable guys on this roster as well.
I think we definitely do. I really like this team's going to be easy to root for, and they're going to be fun. As far as it goes with the secondary, I'm not really worried about the secondary. The positional group I'm most worried about is linebacker.
Yeah, the secondary, I could argue that it's one of the deepest positions on this team, especially when it comes to the youth. I mean, we don't really have anybody on this team that's like a washed up veteran that's a Band-Aid, right? We got Sauce Gardner being the best corner in the draft starting. We got DJ Reed, who's coming off a very good season last year with the Seattle Seahawks. Michael Carter II, who is my biggest sleeper of this entire defense, where I think he can establish himself as one of the top slot corners, in my opinion. So the secondary is going to look great. The linebackers, that's going to be big question mark if hopefully CJ can stay healthy.
This is a great question from Josh, or more of a statement, but he goes, "How does off-field news of MILF hunting compare with quarterback one getting his jaw broken by a teammate? We're better." I mean, culture change, completely different, right? And that really isn't that long ago. 2015 is 7 years ago? That was pretty recent. I would take I'll take the MILF hunting over the mono and the
mono.
jaw broken and the hot dog on the sideline,
butt fumble.
All of it. But yeah, this storyline, it's a fun one. We've talked about it a lot.
Yeah, this is the first time where the Jets quarterback is in the news outside of football, and it's being spinned in a positive light, I say. And things are exploding. I mean, you type in his name on Twitter, and you kind of the amount of memes you see is just hysterical.
Love it. We got.
What's up, man?
Here we go.
Appreciate you, bro.
Thank you.
What's your name? Dan. Nice to meet you, bro. I appreciate you.
Matt, thank you.
Take care, man. Let's go, Jets.
What else we got in here? Ooh, okay. Cybers, I can't say his YouTube name. I think he says we're gonna see a lot more nickel than 4-3, so he's not as concerned about the linebackers. That's fair, but I know the Jets are very high on Quincy Williams. The thing that scares me with him is just the inconsistencies, because on some weeks he's flying around making all these tackles, and then the next week he's way over pursuing and just lost in coverage. And I feel like you just don't know what you're going to get from him on a week-to-week basis.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like this offseason is so big for him. And I said it earlier when we were talking about the Quincy Williams situation. But I feel like we can't forget about the job C.J. Mosley did last year. I feel like since the overall team as a defense was so atrocious, it was hard to, talk about how good C.J. Mosley was individually, because if you're a linebacker and your defense is last in the league, then you're not doing your job because you're the quarterback of the defense. Yeah. But what C.J. Mosley did individually, I mean, he had the second most tackles by a linebacker in Jets history or something like that. Like, what he did was absolutely ridiculous. And C.J. Mosley's a stud, man. I mean, his first full season with the Jets being healthy, he showed out. So I think he's a big X factor. If him and Quincy Williams are healthy all season long, that's only going to help out this defense, because my only concern about the linebackers, Matt, is the depth, because they're not really that deep. We have Hamza Nasruddin and Jamie Sherwood as year number 2 guys who were both a little banged up last year.
So Bethpage Chris says, what time are you guys there until the signing goes until 8? We're going to see if we can get Ruckert on after he's done. We got Bill Ruckert's kind of meandering over around here. So we'll see. We're going to be hanging for a while, though. Evan says he thinks Quincy Williams is going to be most improved.
On the team?
Yeah, most improved on the team. So do you agree with that, or would you say someone else for most improved?
I think he has a chance to, because he's given the starting role. I feel like I said it over again. His ability to now understand the system with the full offseason is only going to benefit him big time. When it comes to most improved, I'm trying to think of another guy on the roster that can take that nod, because there's a lot of players last year that obviously did not play good football. So is there anybody outside of Quincy Williams that you feel like would win that nod over him, Matt?
It's hard not to say Zach.
If
you're going offense, but on the on the defensive side, he's a good answer. He's definitely a good answer. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else.
Quinnen Williams.
I was gonna say Quinnen,
but it's not like he had a bad season last year. It just wasn't outworldly.
Yeah. No, it's probably Quincy if I had to pick someone.
Yeah, I really feel like he has all the tools. I mean, he's a heat-seeking missile. His issue last year was he would be overcommit a lot, and he said that in an interview that he knows that he needs to understand the scheme and he needs to, discipline himself a little more.
Dan NY says we need a JETS chant from Papa Ruckert if he swings by.
Oh, he already did that and chugged the beer.
Yeah, he's a legend.
Hey, I'm gonna run to the restroom real quick, Matt.
Okay, I'll keep us going. Yep, we'll keep us going. Richie's going to the bathroom. I'll mute his mic just in case and bring him back on.
Everyone, make sure you smash that thumbs up button if you're enjoying the show. We love each and every one of you guys in the chat. I'll be right back.
There we go. Love it. Thank you, Richie. We're going to run through right here. Oh, hey, guys. Abreu from Brazil. I hope I said that right. Here in Brazil, Jet fans are talking too much about Becton high weight. You fellas think that there are disciplinary problems with the food or lack of interest to stay in shape? Tough question for me, to be honest with you. I think because I've seen pictures of him where he's looked really good. I've seen pictures of him where he just looks not so good. For me, really, the point that I've wanted to make for a long time on Makai is I give him to training camp as my worry. That's like my line in the sand when I start to get worried. Pre-training camp, which we still technically are for a little bit longer, I'm not quite there yet. But if he comes into camp either A, overweight, or B, unable to go, which is another issue coming back from the injury, if he's not healthy enough to participate, then at that point I'm starting to worry, and I'm probably signing Riley Reef. I'm getting him in here as soon as humanly possible because you need some insurance on that line. You definitely do. You can't go into the year and have Chumadoga or Connor McDermott or a 4th-round rookie try to start some games here. I don't think that's fair for Max Mitchell to come in as a 4th-round rookie and have to play. But I'm still a Mekhi Becton believer. I really am. And I think if he comes back and if he's healthy, I think he's going to be a damn good player. And I think right tackle is where he's going to come in and play. Dark Soldier asks, you guys going to the week 1 game? Yes. So myself and Richie are going. We are going with the Jets Lounge crew. It's going to be at the hangar. We have a suite. I am so excited. I'm a degenerate. I don't belong in a suite. I'm usually in the upper level, in the rowdy crew, which that's where me and Green Bean sat. So we're all going to be there. It's going to be me. It's going to be Richie. It's going to be Ryan. It's going to be Green Bean. Sack Exchange, the Jets Lounge guys, obviously. And it's going to be a whole lot of fun. I can't wait. September can't come soon enough for that. I can't wait for football season to start. We'll be there week 1. Hopefully we see a Jets win. And I am amped up, man. I'm amped up. Nathan wants to know if I think CJ Mosley is going to perform well this year. I thought he was pretty good last year. I wouldn't say that he was phenomenal. I thought he was steady. I thought he was a good player. But I think he still has enough left in the tank. I want him around. I know he's costly. He's not worth his cap hit, but the Jets have so much space it doesn't really matter. So I'm confident in CJ Mosley this year. He's the quarterback of this defense. He's calling all the plays and stuff like that. And we got Richie might be doing a little investigative journalism. He's talking to Bill Ruckert right now as we speak, coming back. So I don't know if he's trying to get him on or what, but a little peek behind, breaking the fourth wall, if you will. Richie's chatting it up with Bill Ruckert. So we'll see what we can do. I'm so excited. Hennessy is going to be there in the lounge, in the Jets Lounge hangar. Dude, I can't wait for that. Honestly, I can't wait for that. It's just, oh my God, the Reds just hit back-to-back home runs off Severino. And they have the Yankee games on TV, so luck over there for the Yanks. I can't wait for the home opener. It's going to be such a blast. It really is. Yeah, we're going to be tailgating the first game of the year as well. I don't know if we are like which lot we're going to be in. They announced today, actually. I'm going to have to talk. We'll get Zach back on before the end, but I'm pretty sure we're going to be in lot J. But we're definitely going to be tailgating beforehand. We'll be walking around. We did that last year with the Gotham crew. We were hanging out with them. We were hanging out with the Jets Nation guys. We saw Tyson. I believe Tyson's going to be sitting with us in the Jets hangar. I'm almost positive he is. So it's a nice crew of content guys. And Richie is definitely talking it up with Bill Ruckert. I don't know if he's trying to make his way over here, but he's ordering a beer. We're doing a little play-by-play. We might be onto something here. Ladies and gentlemen, we're having Bill Ruckert making his way. He's coming on? Oh, baby, let's go. Yeah, come around.
I brought a special guest with me.
He's back. I told you. There he is.
He's going to give us a Jet ETS chant. Talk some Jets.
You doing?
Yeah.
How are you guys?
How are
Bill.
you, man? How does it feel? You're here. Your son is at a Long Island event.
It's insane. Everything's insane.
Everything's
What's going on in this world? Is the world spinning backwards? Because I don't know what's going on.
This is amazing. How does it feel? Like I was just saying, my dad's right there. We're living the dream. Your whole family, you grew up Jets fans, and your son is drafted to the Jets. I mean, did it kick in yet? When did it really kick in?
You know what? It kicked in when he was wearing the Jet helmet. You know, look, my son's laughing at me.
Yeah, look at this. We love it.
When you saw him, look, it never really kicked in, but that night was insane. Just watching that whole thing, and you're looking at, him going from, I don't know if he's going to be drafted to, I don't know if he's going to be drafted to, holy shit, he's a Jet. And that's what's going on. It's nuts.
So this is it. Obviously, we don't have to worry about this, so you can answer this however you want. But if Jeremy was drafted somewhere else, were you still going to root for the Jets too and his team, or were you just like, I'm over as a Jet fan, so I got to root for my kid?
You've read the stories, have you seen the other things? I've had Jet stuff my entire life.
Yeah.
I'm always going to be a Jet fan.
Okay.
And even you don't want to talk about these things, but it is a business, and eventually There might be a day, it might be a little mad at the Jets, but you
Understand.
don't know how it's going to go. But you can't take it out of him. He's still going to be bleeding green, and it's like, so, no, but again, it was like, hey, this is great. My kid's going to be drafted to, oh my God, my kid's a Jet.
I can't even imagine that experience. So when you look at this roster this season, what's your expectations for the Jets and your overall expectations for them with under
Well, as
Robert
a typical
Saleh?
Jet fan, we're going to win the Super Bowl.
I love it.
That's how
Let's
it
go.
goes. I mean, what do? We don't just go, maybe. I don't know what's going to happen. They're not going to be, we're looking at 2 win. Nah, we're going to win the Super Bowl until, you see how the, season goes out.
And you were with Jeremy when you went to sign the contract at One Jets Drive. So what are your thoughts of being in the facility, did you meet any of the coaching staff, any in the front
We met
office?
all of them. They were all great, meeting Rex, and meeting, Joe Douglas, Coach Saleh, all of those guys. It's great. I mean, we were fortunate when he went to the opening, and we were able to go and be inside the facility and see when he was playing and stuff like that. But still, it's like, he wasn't wearing green.
Yeah.
Now he's wearing green. So
it's something that I've said it before and Richie said it before, and I'm sure, this is how you feel, but we're both Long Island kids. We both grew up Jet fans. I feel like he's living out all of our dreams. This is such a surreal experience, and I think he's going to be a fan favorite because of that.
Hey, look, it's kind of like I said, it's a dream come true.
Yeah.
And if things work out, man, he's going to be, on cloud 9 and hopefully be the little green heart of all the Jet fans out there, but,
He already is. I mean, going into the draft, I was always saying on my YouTube channel, they need a tight end. Jeremy Ruckert is there. It makes way too much sense. They better draft him. And when they drafted him, my reaction was jubilant. I was so excited when Jeremy Ruckert was announced to be a New York Jet. So do you want to give us your...
I know. I saw the video.
Did you?
You were kind of crazy.
You saw that video?
I love it.
Where'd you see that video on?
Apparently YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
My
not
man.
very computer savvy. But
Yeah, man. Yeah, I was wild. So I'm happy that you
enjoying
saw it.
yourself.
I was enjoying myself because, like I said, I felt like I was living through him in a way. I'm like, wow, this is what I've always wanted to do. Obviously, I'm not.
We're not built for this.
not built for this.
I know, me
But
too.
I mean, man, you created a man that's on the New York Jets. I'm still at a loss for words that this whole event's happening. So what's your thoughts of this whole experience of being around, like you're on Long Island here, you're seeing everyone here. Like, is this your first autograph event signing that you've been with your son, or?
Yeah, this is the first one I've been to. I know, you're learning as you go. He's had to reel me in, not knowing, because I don't know what I'm doing. But, and I don't want to say anything out of it. Again, they're all going to joke about me thinking it's all about me, but it never is. It's always about your kids, and it's always about him. And so whatever he wants is all that matters. But this is, again, there's no other words. It's insane. This is all nuts. I don't know what to do. I don't know.
Well, you might be like, I don't know if you realize this, but I think you might be the unofficial mascot of the Jets. Are you okay with that? Are you buying into it?
Look, I'm never bumping anybody. I'm more than willing to join in. So I all these other people saying stuff about other guys, my men, they're icons. Especially when I went. So if I can join in and we're all having a good time, that's great. I'm going to be bleeding green till the day I die. And that's what's going to happen. And look, this is totally icing on the cake. There's only one way to end it. Jets! 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 Jets!
Woo! Thank you, Bill.
Appreciate you, man. Let's go Jets.
Thanks for coming on.
That was awesome. Bill Ruckert, ladies and gentlemen, coming on,
One and
hanging out
only.
with us, doing a JETS chant. I mean, Richie, I don't think it gets any better than that.
That was absolutely awesome to witness in person, being able to interview Mr. Ruckert, Bill Ruckert. Shout out to that Jet chant was insane. Did you guys hear that?
I said,
I was like,
I thought he'd give, maybe a little JET. He was into it, man.
it came from the core. Like, that's when you know it's a real Jets chant, a Jets fan. It's not just like a JETS. It's like it's like a real.
They got it. If the Jets were smart, and the Jets, we know you're watching, for week 1, opening day, we need Bill on the screen going absolutely nuts for this. We need him. Thank you. That was awesome, Zach.
See you later, Dad.
We need him on the Jumbotron to do the JETS
Oh
chant.
my God!
Could you
Sorry,
imagine?
Fireman Ed. We love you, Fireman Ed, but we might have to add Bill Ruckert to like put him next to Fireman Ed. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, the two of them, and the Jetman, right? He's
Yeah,
always
you can't
there.
replace those guys. You
No.
add them to it.
No, of course.
Wow, that Jets chant. I was talking to him. So when I went to the bathroom on my way back, my dad is here, and then Bill Ruckert was ordering a beer at the bar, and I'm like, Dad, I want you to talk to Ruckert's father.
Yeah.
And then we started talking, and then I'm like, hey, do you want to come on to the show? Maybe you can give us a Jets chant or something. And he's like, yeah, whatever. And he came by. I thought he was going to do a Jets chant, but he actually sat down and talked to us. That was awesome.
Yeah, I thought. Listen, this whole experience is surreal. If we talk to Jeremy, that'd be phenomenal. But my night was made just from the Jets chant.
Yeah.
Anything else is just gravy now at this point.
Dude, it really is surreal. And you heard him say it. Like, he doesn't even – it doesn't make sense. What is life? It's like –
Yeah, literally. Just unbelievable stuff there. So just going through the comments now. People want to know, K Solo wants to know why Green Bean isn't there. Why Green Bean's not here with us. Green Bean, I know you're busy. You just got a new house and you're building a studio, but honestly, a selfish move not driving the 8-9 hours to come hang out with us.
Are you serious, Green Bean? You
Come
don't care about
on.
us that much? You don't want to see me in person that much, so you don't take 8 to 9 hours of your day to drive here?
And then back home right after?
I would have gave you a place to stay.
Yeah, I sleep on the couch. What was funny, speaking of Green Bean, he always tells me, I saw him obviously, but I didn't get to see you last year on opening day, but he said right as he pulled in, you were literally walking right in front of his car.
It was so crazy. So if you guys watch my channel, you must know Jack. And Jack and I were together, and we were actually walking away from the Gotham City tailgate, and we're walking back to my car, and we see a guy with his car drive into a parking lot, and I see in there, and I see a white beard, and I'm like, Jack, I think we just found Green Bean. And Jack's like, no way. And no one loves Green Bean more than Jack. So Jack was really excited. We pulled up to Green Bean. He comes out of his car, and it was like our first time meeting. And it was and that was like my first time, being able to meet a bunch of Jets YouTubers. I didn't get to meet Matt then. This is our first time meeting, but I got to meet Ryan and Jets Today as well. So it was cool to meet Green Bean in a very organic way. And it wasn't planned at all.
I think I missed a super chat from our guy. I got to try and scroll back here. Oh, here we go. Mr. D.
Mr. D.
Thank you for the reminder. It was when Bill Ruckert was on. But the Jets are going to be better this year. Mark my words. But the Bills and the Patriots will lose to the Jets this season. Ooh, the Bills. The Patriots, I think the Jets have a real shot at splitting with. If the Jets beat the Bills, that would be insane.
Oh, my God. I went to college in upstate New York in Bills Mafia territory, and I was there during the Sam Darnold versus Josh Allen debates, and you guys know where I was at on that side of the spectrum, and you know where we're at now. So I look like the idiot. So if the Jets could beat the Bills, and I can text all my Bills Mafia friends that I have built through my college years, I love it. And also my sister, she's getting married this fall to a Bills fan.
Oh.
And when we met, actually, funny story, when I was in college, I went to Brockport, so it was an hour away from Bills Stadium. So I went to 4 straight Bills-Jets games in Buffalo.
Okay.
And one of those years, my sister, she lived in Rochester, and she said, hey, let's go to a game. I'm going to bring one of my friends who's a Bills fan. And I was like, all right, cool. He can come with us. And they weren't dating at the time. And then they show up, and that's my first time meeting him.
Okay.
With the Bills jersey. I'm like, oh, this guy. And we have that little dynamic. And then fast forward 3 or 4 years later, my sister's getting married to this Bills fan.
Can he hang? Is he
He's a great dude.
Okay.
Great dude. He's a Knicks fan, so we do have some similarities. I love him to death. I'm very happy to welcome him to the family.
I will say this, obviously a division rivals, but I give the Bills and their fans a ton of props because even this is years ago, but I went to a couple Bills-Jets games at MetLife, and they travel extremely well, and they're partying just as hard in the MetLife lot as they do up at their own place. It's nuts.
Yeah, dude. Going to 4 straight games in Bills Mafia territory, I really gained respect for that fan base, man. I hate the team. Obviously, they're rivals, and screw the Bills always, but, I really gained their passion that they have. It's different. The energy, their tailgates are ridiculous. I'll never forget my first game I went, it was actually that game I'm talking about. I was wearing a Revis jersey, and we're at a tailgate, and I was part of a whole bus, and it was the Bills bus, and it was me, the only Jets fan on it, and then we're parked outside, and someone's like, "Yo, like Revis, go long," and I'm like running a route, like, "Oh yeah," and then he like drops the ball and flips me off, and I was like, "Oh,
that's pretty funny.
That's what's going on over here, I guess." So that really welcomed me to the whole Bills Jets rivalry. But I was at that game, Sam's rookie season,
the Robbie Anderson touchdown.
Touchdown, and I was sitting like front row because tickets were like $30 for front row.
Sick.
And when we won that game, dude, I was getting into the base the whole time. I turned around and all Bills Mafia was looking at me, and I was like, "What?" And everyone's throwing stuff at me, and I'm like, "Sam Darnold's better than Josh Allen. You guys suck."
I love it.
Oh,
you got to
man,
just
good
lean
times.
into it at that point, though, right?
Yeah, that was a highlight of my experience over at Bills game. It was the only game. No, they actually beat them on Thursday Night Football when Matt Forte had 3 touchdowns. Thursday night game, 2016. Yeah, I was at that game too.
Oh, no way. Gangrene David, what's up, man? Thank you for the super chat. He comments 2 goats. Thank you.
Hey, shout out to Gangrene David.
Hope you're doing well, my man. Good to hear from you. Yeah, so you're talking about your soon-to-be brother-in-law. I'm lucky. My girlfriend, her dad is a huge Jets fan, and anytime I go over, we're just always chopping it up. We get along really well. He's a little degenerate like me. He likes to gamble, and we talk football and gambling, so it's a good time. But I don't know how I'd be able to deal with if my girlfriend, like her parents or whatever, were like a Bills fan. That would be really tough for me.
No, it really would be. And, it's funny when you get those family ties. You have an uncle that's a rival fan, or you have an uncle that's with you on the same playing field. When you have family, whether it's an in-law or your own family that roots for the same team or in a rivalry, it really adds to the dynamic. I mean, it's just fun. I have an uncle who is the biggest sports fan I know, but he's a Giants fan, but he's always texting me about the Jets, and he's really, really impressed with what the Jets are doing. And I love hearing that from a Giants fan perspective instead of like us Jets fans who, some people say, "Oh, you're biased." Oh, but hearing it from a non-Jets fan that he'll admit he doesn't like the Jets because obviously he's a Giants fan, but he is very impressed with them, and he's expecting big season from them.
Yeah, K Solo is back. He says, Matt, New York Jets versus Buffalo. It's going to be 1-on-1. New York Jets is going to take the first game. Buffalo is not 2 games to the Jets this year. It's 1-1. This is high. It's high expectations. It's possible they played them tough. We talked earlier, but the Jets did play them tough last year. They were just too injured the last week of the year.
Please be competitive. Don't get your ass kicked by the Buffalo Bills. That's all I ask.
Yeah, be competitive, hang around. And you were right. They should have beat Miami at least one of the times they played them last year. The game at home, that was the Flacco one, I think, right? They should have won that game.
Elijah Moore had 154 yards and a touchdown. And
yeah.
Tua looked trash.
Yeah, except for that he had the one long touchdown. That pretty much ended the game. That was it.
Yeah, and that was such a fluke play. I mean, he looked like he put his all into that throw, and it went like 40 yards.
Oh, God. Here we go. Jets versus Detroit in the Super Bowl. Can you imagine? I had that dream the other day.
Wow. Who won in the dream?
Yeah, hopefully the Jets won, but that would be – I think the internet would melt down if we got a Jets versus Lions Super Bowl.
I honestly don't know if I'm prepared for the Jets to make the playoffs in terms of watching the game or like the week leading up to it, in terms of like how nervous I'm going to be. Obviously, I want them. I'm just saying, like, I'm going to be a wreck. I mean, I'm already a wreck during regular season games. You guys watch my live reactions.
Yeah. But, like, it's been so long since we've had that, like, sweating a playoff game. But there's nothing like watching your team in the playoffs. And, we're, similar in age and growing up. The Jets were in the playoffs, a lot during our youth. And it was there's nothing like it. One of my earliest memories of the Jets was in 2004, them beating the Chargers on a Saturday night game. It was just... I miss that. I need that.
Why is that our memories? 2004, 2009, like that's so sad. Like we need that. We need to be back in the playoffs. I think we have the longest playoff drought in the league.
They do. I don't want to say this, but it's one of the longer playoff droughts in all the 4 major sports.
That has to change very soon. And when I think back of the 2009 and 10 era when we lost back-to-back AFC Championship games,
that was tough.
I cried both times.
Yeah. The second one hit me harder, I think, because the first year it was kind of like, I don't know, it was kind of like just happy to be here kind of thing. No one expected this. But then the year before you were there, the team, that's probably the best Jets team I've ever seen. I was 3 years old in '98. I don't remember that team at all.
Yeah, I was born.
Okay, yeah, so we're 3 years apart. But it's just like that 2010 team, that to me, that's my team. That team should have won the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, no doubt, and especially if you see how that team gelled as a squad, it just felt like that Cinderella story, and it's really upsetting that Sanchez couldn't get us there.
I know. It's tough.
And even in 2015, we should have been in the playoffs. We won 10 games, and we are not in the playoffs. That's the Jets' luck. We get double-digit wins and don't make the playoffs. That doesn't happen. I feel like every single team that gets 10 wins is in the playoffs, but the Jets.
And you lose to your former coach, who you just fired the year before. It's just a pile on right on top.
And Fitz just had to collapse when the biggest game of his life.
You know what I still talk about in that game? This stat will always be engraved in my head. Chris Ivory only had 6 carries in that game. In a cold, windy day in Buffalo, how are you giving Chris Ivory the ball just 6 times?
Chris Ivory was such a good player for that team that year. That's crazy. I didn't know that. 6 carries. I mean, did he split it with anybody, or was he like the number one guy?
Bilal.
Yeah, like what did Bilal get that year?
He was good that year, but he was hurt that last game of the year. So it was like Stephen Ridley was on that team, I think.
Wow. Throwback, man. I remember watching that last game. Oh.
Mr. D says, Matt, you said if the Jets played the Bills tough last year, injured. Now what do you think they're going to do with new additions? We'll win, I'll tell you. Win. Go Jets. I really hope so. I would love to be proven wrong. I just think that with how the Bills season ended last year, I'm going to make the comparison to another sport. The Colorado Avalanche last year, they were a great team. They lost in the playoffs, and after that, they loaded up, and it just felt like this team's going to go on a run, and they're going to dominate, and they did. They dominated all regular season. They dominated in the playoffs, and my fear is that Buffalo is going to do something similar in the NFL.
Yeah, man. It's funny because I mentioned my brother-in-law, Michael. I was talking to him, and he was like, it's Super Bowl or bust for them this year, and it kind of is, and I can't even imagine saying that about my team.
Dude, we're talking about like being like, I don't know, in the Hunt graphic in week 16.
We have Bills fans saying, like, if we don't win the Super Bowl, not get to the Super Bowl, not make it to the AFC Championship game, not winning the division, not making the playoffs, they need to win the Super Bowl. And it's true, though, because Josh Allen's contract's going to kick in. And, like, Von Miller, he's in the prime of his career, at the edge of his prime. He's not going to be able to play at that level forever.
V-Man, the history buff, says, don't forget New England double-digit wins in 2008, no playoffs. Yeah, the Matt Castle year, they missed the playoffs. It was Chad Pennington.
2008.
Yeah, won the
Is that the only team? Like, is it the Patriots in 08 and Jets in 15 that had double-digit wins?
There's been others. It's frustrating, too, because, like, there's always that one crappy division, and they get someone in, like, at 8-8 or whatever.
Like the NFC East the past couple of seasons.
That's true. It's frustrating. It's definitely frustrating.
It's always the Jets.
What else we got in here? Yeah.
I'm starving.
Yeah, I'm hungry, too.
Make this a mukbang, guys, and get messy with wings, or what?
Can you imagine? We're closing in on 8 o'clock, so I'm hoping that maybe with some luck we could get another special guest on here. But like I said to you earlier, Richie, even just getting Bill on here, that made my day.
Oh, dude, Bill Ruckert was the man, the myth, the legend. That JETS chant was great. I loved his energy in terms of, like, how does it feel that your son's on the Jets? I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
He's basically like, what is life right now?
Yeah. And he's like, nothing makes sense in this world. I feel like feel the same way if I ever have a son one day and he gets drafted to the Jets.
Unbelievable.
Can you imagine that, guys? If I had a son and he's on the Jets?
Unreal. We got another one from Go Hannegrid, says, if Pennington didn't have all those shoulder injuries, wink, or frowny face. Are we just going to do sad boy hours here?
Yeah, come on, man. We don't want to live in the past now.
Yeah, it's tough.
Sadness, pain.
1189 Paris. I like this one. The Jets are always the best offseason football team. Let's start winning by beating the Patriots, Dolphins, and Bills for a change. The last time the Jets won a divisional game was against the third-string Buffalo Bills in 2019.
No, that is true. We talked about it. How are we going to win the division? You got to beat the division. But the one thing I will say about winning the offseason is the previous offseasons where we won because we won free agency. Now we're winning the drafts, which is going to help out. You have to win these NFL drafts before you can turn this franchise around. So this feels different. Remember when we signed C.J. Mosley and Le'Veon Bell? At the time, it felt like we won the offseason because we got the biggest guys on the market. And we felt like, we're going to be good this year. And so it feels different.
It does. It also, it probably helps. I would say Robert Saleh is a better coach than Adam Gase, so I think that should make a difference. And Mike McCagnon, not as good as Joe Douglas.
Oh my gosh.
There was really a time, Richie, where we were living through Mike McCagnon, Adam Gase-led team in 2019.
And it's just so funny to me how the Johnsons fired McCagnon immediately after he did a draft.
They let him draft.
And then they saw the draft class. They're like, excuse me? And then they brought in Joe Douglas. And then Douglas came in here, and his first offseason got 5 new offensive linemen. And there's literally not – is there one player on this offense from the McCagnon era? Trevon Wesco, is that the only one? Talking on offense, there's like no one else. Joe Douglas literally revamped this entire offense at every single position.
That's starting? Yeah, no, it's Wesco.
It's Wesco. That's
I'm literally trying to do this off the top of my head.
There's nobody on this roster.
Chuma Doga? Do we count Chuma Doga?
Yeah,
Not really. He was a 3rd-round pick.
Those are Wesco and Adoga, all backups, both of them. They're not impactful. So basically, Douglas came to this Jets team and completely shaped the offense. And then on defense, the only really people that are McCagnon guys are C.J. Mosley, Quinnen Williams. Is that it?
Wesco's the longest tenured Jet, and he was, what, 2018?
Oh, Tommy Bohannon.
Oh, yeah.
Was he McCagnon guy, or was that even like beyond his days? No. I mean, Brant Boyer has survived 3 coaches.
Tommy Bohannon. No, it's you're thinking Bawden. Tommy Bohannon's not here.
No, Hennessy.
Oh, yes.
I'm mixing up the long snapper.
Right.
Tommy.
You're
Wait, do I got the name right?
Yeah. It's
Hennessy.
His brother, the other Hennessy, was drafted, I think, a year ago, maybe, or 2 years ago by the Falcons.
When did we get Hennessy? Was that under McCagnon? It had to be.
I think so. I definitely
the legend.
Think so. Someone says McGovern in the comments, but he was a Joe Douglas.
Yeah, that was a Joe Douglas free agency signing. Joe Douglas came here, guys, in his first offseason and literally brought in 5 new offensive linemen in 1 season. 1 offseason.
Yeah.
That's how bad it was.
And I have to give Douglas credit on this one. The signing of George Fant was a very big head scratcher because we knew you needed offensive line. And it was like, really? Like,
and that was the first signing of the free agency.
Yeah, it was like right away. I was like, this is like surprising. Okay. But he was solid at right tackle, but very good at left tackle last year. And that was a home run.
Yeah, and he was even solid at right tackle. And I feel like that's one of the most underrated free agent signings that we've seen from Joe Douglas. Like he went out there, signed Connor McGovern, signed Greg Van Roten, signed George Fant, and then he drafted Mekhi Becton, and then who was the left guard? Alex Lewis, I think. Yeah. So like those are the 5 guys, and then you fast forward to today, gets rid of Greg Van Roten because he was abysmal, and we still have McGovern, we still have Fant, and then he adds the Pro Bowler Lincoln Tomlinson. You add Elijah Vera Tucker in the draft, and now we're seeing Joe Douglas's plan, because I think we can all say when Douglas came here, we knew that he's going to prioritize that offensive line, and now we're finally seeing the vision come to fruition.
Do you think Fant gets an extension before the season starts?
I think they might do the John Franklin Myers thing where they're not going to do it right away. Let him play a couple games, see where his knee's at. Because don't forget, he's coming off knee surgery, and he did not play in OTA. So I hope that he's okay for training camp, because that gets me a little worried that both of our starting tackles are not in minicamp. Let's hope that they're both ready for training camp. I think that they're going to wait until to see his knee, let him play out, and maybe if he is playing at a high level, extend him throughout in the middle of the season.
I think they should. I think with how he's played the last couple of years, I think it's worthy of an extension. Oh. Okay. All right. We might have something here in a little bit. So we're not going anywhere yet. We're still hanging. There's still 150 people in here hanging out with us. So appreciate you guys sticking around. It's been a blast. Just chopping it up and talking football. We still apparently no one in the comments has said anything about Johnny Gaudreau, so I'm still gonna assume that he's unsigned right now.
Damn. Poor Matt.
I'm sweating over here. Just like, obviously, I know you're sweating about your Knicks right now. And so you're in on the Donovan Mitchell trade, I'd assume, right?
Oh, yeah. Did a whole 2-hour live stream this morning on how much the Knicks have to go out there and be aggressive for him.
Would you give up RJ Barrett?
No.
Or no? Okay.
That's the big thing. It's like you trade him to pair him up with RJ. You don't trade him to get rid of him. Then it's going to be Carmelo Anthony all over again. Yeah. You got the roster, and then you have no one here, You don't want the Jets to trade the entire roster for one player, and then we're left with just that star. You need to have talent around him. The amount of times, though, I've talked to my Knicks channel, like, I wish Joe Douglas ran the Knicks.
Yes. Yeah, I felt that way, too, with my team. Michael says, what is Zach Milfson's ceiling this year?
I haven't heard that one yet. His ceiling is being the best quarterback in the entire league.
I hope so. I'm going to say, like, realistic ceiling for this year, in my opinion. Okay, yeah. We're trying to do things on the fly and also answer questions a lot.
He's telling us to go up so
over
we get an
there,
autograph.
yeah. And then Zach is saying that people are going to come over here. So I don't. What do you want to do? I don't know. I feel like we should probably sit.
I mean, he can just come by and just say what's good and walk away. Like we don't have to sit down for a whole full interview. We probably want to get out of here.
Yeah, I don't blame him for that. Like I said, Bill was really the highlight here. But I'm gonna say, like, 12th best quarterback in the league is my.
Top 12. That's huge. Top 12, yes.
Beth Page, Chris chimes in. Thanks for what you do, guys. Great content, and you always give us a chance to talk Jets year round. Yeah, that's all we're doing. We're just hanging out. A couple Long Island guys talking New York Jets football. Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that at all, baby. We appreciate all the support. Again, guys, everyone in the chat that watches Matt and I's channels, that shows all the love, that hits the like button, that subscribes, that comments your thoughts, that's engaging with us in the live stream. None of this is possible without you guys, so thank you so much. Matt and I are nothing special. We're just gigantic Jets fans like everyone else, so we're just lucky enough to be able to connect with you guys.
Jaw says his ceiling has mirrors. Let's see how long it takes to figure that one out.
He's a goat. He got that dog, you know.
Jets Forever is giving you a hard time. He says, imagine being a Knicks fan.
Oh, no. What is he, a Brooklyn Nets fan or what?
I think it'd be worse to be I'm not a basketball guy. I'm not a Knicks fan. I'm not a Nets fan. But I feel like it'd be worse to be a Nets fan because they had expectations.
Oh, yeah.
And just completely whipped both years.
Watching the Brooklyn Nets fall, oh, man. After that whole Kevin Durant, Kyrie stuff, we're not going to get into that. But my thing about that, I hate when people say, imagine being X fan, like whatever fan, like Jets Forever. How would you feel if someone said, imagine being a Jets fan? Because a lot of people say, that's what I'm saying. Like, what does that mean, imagine being a Knicks fan? I'm a diehard Knicks fan. They suck. The Jets, hey, guys, the Jets suck. They don't suck now, but they've sucked forever. Yeah. We're still fans of the team.
We're loyal. I have I appreciate, and I think it's because I'm a Jets, I'm an Islanders, and I'm a Mets fan. And I think it's, I empathize with the Lions fans or those teams who haven't won in a really long time or had success because I know it. I've been through it. We lived it.
Which is another reason why I feel like this Jets team is going to be so likable, where if we do turn it around and we do play good football, there's fan bases around the league like, oh, yeah, the Jets are finally good. Like, they're going to be happy for the Jets. So, we're kind of, unfortunately, like the Lions and the Browns finally turned it around. But I feel like we're going to be one of those teams outside of the rival fan bases are going to be like, oh, that's awesome. I want the Jets to succeed. Similarly to the Bengals last year. The Bengals was that team that people gravitated towards.
They were a likable team because usually, in our lifetimes, the Bengals haven't won a playoff game up until last year. And then they go on this unbelievable run. No one thought they'd be any good. And they drafted a wide receiver in the first round. And their second-year quarterback took a massive step.
Yeah, I really feel like it's going to be fun, man. If Zach Wilson can do anything close to what Burrow did last year, it's going to be a fun year.
Yeah, it would be absolutely phenomenal.
Good. I wonder if you're going to get demonetized with all this music in the background.
I really hope not. People are saying that Gaudreau signed with the Blue Jackets. I really hope that's not true. But I heard they were going to give him some massive offer. Can I look at Twitter?
Of course you can. You got to. It's the NHL playoff. A free agency. Free agency is huge in every single sport. I don't even know how you're functioning.
I've been sweating all day.
Dude, free agency, for any sport is insane.
Oh, shit, he did. Damn it.
So you wanted him?
Yeah, he's from South Jersey, so semi-local. And supposedly all day it's down to the Devils or the Islanders. And apparently signed with Columbus.
Oy, that hurts. That hurts, man. If you could rank the Mets, Islanders, and Jets in terms of trajectory and winning, do you put the Mets first?
Mets are 1. I don't Islanders were in back-to-back conference championship the last 2 years before this past year. They took a step back, but I don't know. They need some help offensively. So Jets are trending in the right direction, but I'd probably have them last, I guess, just because of the three. Because that scared the shit out of me. That scared the shit out of me.
Your face was hysterical. Looking at Matt's face, I thought it's like an alien invasion.
An air raid, or what's happening here? That's it. They dropped the nuke.
Oh my god, that was something fun. That was. I was just looking at Matt's face, and Matt's face got me scared.
Oh god.
I still don't even know what that was.
No,
but everyone's like, "Oh yeah." I guess a normal thing here.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Richie everyone's laughing in the chat. Can we clip that? Yeah, someone clip that.
Yeah.
Someone who's watching, screen record and tweet it out.
What the heck was that?
Tornado warning, they're saying in the chat.
Clip that in the chat and tweet it out to us. Oh my god, that was hysterical.
Yeah. Well, it's been fun. I've certainly
live
enjoyed
for way
hanging
over
out.
2 hours, and
Yeah,
we still
2 hours,
got
10
150 steady.
Yeah. I don't know. Richie, I got to be honest. I don't know. I don't want to end this because God forbid we. Thank you. Have a good night.
Appreciate that, bro.
Have a good night.
Appreciate
Thank
you, bro.
you.
Let's go Jets. What's your name? David?
David?
Nice to meet you, brother.
I gotta call in on the podcast.
Call in.
I'm like nervous, bro.
What are you nervous
Going
about?
in, I feel
Don't
like
be
I'm
nervous.
I'm gonna say something so stupid and then right now.
Yeah.
Yo, what's up, Jet Nation? Yo, Jet's gonna go at the worst 7-10, at the best 10-7.
I like
It's
it.
all on how Zach Wilson plays. You know, Zach's
Yeah.
got to be the leader for this team, so it's all on Zach.
You're right.
Why are you nervous? You're a natural with the mic. Call into his podcast,
Call in,
baby.
baby. Have a good one.
Have a good night. Take care. That was awesome.
I love it. I was gonna say I don't want to end this because my fear is, God forbid, we wrap up and then Jeremy Ruckert's like making his way over here. And then
We started, Matt.
You know, we're on guest Wi-Fi right now. I'm just happy we made it to this
The
point.
problem that I have, though, is we're on the way out. So I feel like he's going to be walking out with his family, and he's not going to want to, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Unless Zach Exchange says he's coming. So it's,
Sack Exchange hasn't steered us wrong yet. That's what I'm saying. You know.
I mean,
He's the one
we
who
know that he's in his ear. Like, go, like, knowing him, like,
Yeah.
he's definitely like,
He's
yo, you
tripping.
got to get over there.
You
They're
gotta
the
get
best.
over there. Yeah. You just say hi.
Just
Yeah.
That's all we want. Just come say hi. Give us a Jet ETS chance and tell us how many catches you're going to have this year.
Yeah. Please. Yeah.
And I'm wondering how his foot is, but I don't want to ask him that.
Yeah. That's gotta be the first question. Just sneak that in. He's probably gonna say good, fine, but just sneak that in. How's the leg?
And your thoughts of Zach? I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna-
Yeah. Yikes. Yeah, I think we've got the Ask Rook if his foot is healthy comment no less than 950 times in this stream so far.
Really?
I feel like every single person has commented, ask Jeremy Ruckert how his foot is.
I hope it's good because he missed OTAs. Damn, man. This event was sick.
Yeah, this is a really cool spot, by the way. We're hanging out. If you don't know, we're at the main event in Farmingdale. It's a really cool spot. There's a million TVs, maybe more. There's a ton of TVs
How have I
around.
not known about this spot? And I literally live 15, 20 minutes from here.
It's a great place to watch a game. We're watching the Yankees right now. Aaron Judge just struck out on a borderline
It's live?
call. Yeah, I think so.
Oh, it's 8. I'm like, I don't even know what time it is anymore.
Yeah.
The Mets won the big series today. Let's go effing Mets, baby. LFGM.
LFGM, baby. What do you think? So Michael's back. He says best nicknames for Zach so far. Do you have one? That's
Zach Milson, whoever said
Yeah,
that.
that was him. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, it
The
was
same
him.
guy.
That was pretty good. I mean, I haven't heard that one yet. That was really-
Yeah, that's a good one. Broadway Zach. Mormon Mahomes, I like a lot.
Mormon Mahomes. I mean, he had that while he was in BYU.
Yeah.
Zach Attack. I don't know. There's a lot of good ones.
Zach Attack.
Broadway Zach. But I
Zach
feel like that was
Wilson.
like we gave Broadway Sam. So I feel like Broadway Zach. We're waiting for that
Yeah.
Broadway to kick in.
Everyone's just gonna keep doing the Broadway over and over and over
Until-
again.
But hey, man, we'll see. We'll see if it happens or not.
Yeah.
I don't know what other nicknames are there.
I don't know. Go in the comments down below and
Goat
Milf Hunter, Goat Wilson,
Greatest of all time, Wilson.
the Goat, the best.
Where's Wilson?
Where's Wilson? Yeah. Wall Street Wilson. Forgot about that one. Toss that one up there.
Or how do we? Did you see the movie Castaway?
Yeah.
Where's Wilson? That's how I.
Wilson. V-Man Super Chat. Thank you, V-Man. He says Wall Street Wilson is the best. I like that one.
Yeah.
Wall Street Wilson. I'm a big alliteration guy.
I almost wore my U Stadium Zach Wilson T-shirt today,
Okay.
actually, but I decided to go with this one.
That's I like that one.
Yeah, I got it at this like random fair in Merrick, and it was
Okay.
like $15. I'm like, dude, that is sick, and I got it.
Now, doesn't one of your friends do like the custom shirts?
Yeah,
Those are sick.
it's called Corrupted Closet. Corrupted
Okay.
Closet with a K. He finds. Oh, there it is again. You're prepared this time though. You're not scaring me that time, Horn. But yeah, my buddy, he's actually located in Lindenhurst, which is funny. That's where his warehouse is.
Yeah. Okay,
And
no way.
it's called Corrupted Closet with a K. He does a lot of rework vintage stuff. He has a lot of sports apparel. He has bleached Met stuff, bleached Jet stuff. And I'm trying to do another collab with him so we can get some vintage Jet stuff.
No, I like that stuff. I tried to wear. I wore the Just Jets for a little promo. Little promo there. Gotta love it. Yeah. Now we're on delay, so everyone's talking about the siren that went off.
The siren
It's
went
an
off again,
absolute
but
blast,
we're
yeah.
prepared for it.
These guys are making it over here.
J-E-T-S, Jets.
He's back.
There
I
he
think
is.
you guys can tell who that was without seeing him. Really?
Appreciate it. Thank you.
That's
Thank
awesome,
you.
man. Appreciate you.
Yeah, so Jeremy Ruckert's younger brother watches us, he said. So, that's freaking sick. How do you feel about Jeremy Ruckert's brother? Said he's like, he literally just said to us, I've been following you since before you drafted him.
Wow.
What?
And you reckon that is pretty crazy.
To quote our man Bill, what is life?
Yeah, and Bill said that when I was like, yeah, my reaction was crazy. Yeah, I saw
Yeah,
it. I was like, oh, wait, you saw it?
Like, that's the thing. Like, he probably was like showing like the family, like, look at all these reactions. Because I mean, you did your reactions. Me, Green Bean, and Ryan were live during the draft, and we clipped all the reactions. So like, obviously, Bill had the best reaction. It's just absolutely sick,
Dude, that was amazing.
dude. Hell yes.
Oh, that's how
Thank
for us?
you.
Dude,
Thank
good
you.
looks. You're the man, bro.
You got the signed Jeremy Ruckert poster.
That's
Legend.
elite.
Long
That is
Island
elite.
class right here, baby.
I got two of them.
Long Island's finest, Richie, Matt, and Jeremy Ruckert.
Dude, it's doing good. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Justin Forocho, man. Where we at?
Jeremy's walking out.
Jeremy's
He waved,
walking out
gave
of
us a
here.
wave.
Say
That was
goodbye to
awesome.
Jeremy. Appreciate you. Good luck this season, man.
That was awesome. That was cool.
Pick up that mic. Is that mic
Yeah,
on?
it's on. Go ahead.
What's up, everybody? Justin Forocho in the house. We had a great event, main event. Had some good food. We had some good drinks. We had some good company. Jeremy was super friendly.
Yeah, he's a
We
good
did a
guy.
lot of signatures, and he was very friendly with a lot of the fans, a lot of the kids. They were, spelling the names out. And he was just happy to be here, man. He's a good guy. So we're excited to have him. He's going to be that big target for Zach in the end zone. And, hopefully we line up at fullback and we can just get in the end zone and get some points, man. He's excited to be a Jet, probably more happy than we are for him to be a Jet. So thanks, guys. I appreciate these
Yeah,
two
but
guys
how about
too.
this event you're doing right here? This is pretty sick. You organized this whole thing, part of the Jet Lounge. I mean,
sir.
why don't you talk about that real quick? How you got this whole thing together? This is awesome.
Well, really, I just reached out to his agent and said I wanted to do something for the hometown kid in his hometown. I thought it would be really special for him to reach out to his own community, which is a big Jets community. So we just worked out some numbers, and I found a good place through Pat Dunn, my other guys in the Jet Lounge, and he said, hey, go check this place out. So me and Benny, my co-host from the Monday Morning Takeoff on the Jet Lounge, we came up here. We just started handing out flyers where he's from, Lindenhurst in West Babylon, and had a great turnout. So I appreciate you guys coming out.
Absolutely.
This is awesome. Thanks for having us. This
Yeah,
event
man.
was great. Very professional. It was awesome. Like, it's your first big event, right? Like, autograph signing wise?
Yeah, it's our first one. We plan on doing a lot. I got a lot of agents' numbers that I'm trying to get us some more guys. Don't want to disclose who yet, but we got some other guys in the works, and we definitely plan on bringing the fans together because it's for the fans, by the fans. That's what the Jet Lounge is for. So we're definitely going to keep it rolling, and hopefully this season brings us some more
some more good times.
If you ever need a couple of guys to live stream there, you know where to go, right?
I know a couple guys. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, this is a sick. I've never done a live stream like this. So everyone in the chat watching this is my first time doing something like this at an event, and I hope you guys enjoyed because this is phenomenal. And shout out to the Jet Lounge, man. You guys are doing phenomenal things, and I'm excited for week 1.
Thank you.
We'll be there.
Yeah.
Week 1 will be at the Hangar, the MetLife, which is another event that I'm trying to put together for the Jet Lounge. It's going to be a great event. We got some good guests going in there. And, it's just going to be a fun time because we're going to whip the crap out of those Ravens, man.
Let's go.
Dominate.
Jets by 1,000,000, baby. Let's go.
There we go.
Woo.
I appreciate you guys. I love the Jets family. So talk to you soon, man. Rock
Thank
on.
you.
Jets.
Jets. Appreciate you, my man. This was awesome.
Great stuff, as always. Richie, it's been a blast, man. This has been a ton of fun.
Dude, that was awesome. We got to talk to the people that ran this event from the Jet Lounge and from Sack Exchange to Benny to Justin, and we got to speak to Bill Ruckert. Man, this was a phenomenal
Jeremy
event.
Ruckert's brother watches our stuff. Like, what?
Yeah, really. I mean, that's pretty crazy. His brother went up to us and he's like, I've watched you guys before Jeremy got drafted. And for Bill Ruckert to say, yeah, I saw your reaction. Like, pretty crazy stuff. But it just solidifies that everyone watches our stuff. And, like, especially it ties into Elijah Moore. When I met him, Matt, and I asked him, like, yo, have you ever seen JetsMedia anywhere? And he's like, yeah, of course, bro. I was like, that's me. He's like, oh, no way. I love you, bro. I was like, no, I love you.
I love you.
Like,
Yeah.
what do you mean you love me? Like, it's awesome. I think these players really care about the Jets community.
They appreciate that stuff. And, like, look, we're just, we're fans. We give our opinions, but I think, they appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun.
No, they really do appreciate it because if I was a player, I'd prefer to watch these type of guys too because we're not spinning any narratives or anything. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, so
let's go Jets.
I think we're going to wrap it up, but this has been an absolute blast, Richie, and I hope we can do more stuff like this in the future. We got one. I'm holding you to the Blackstone thing. We got to do a Blackstone.
I got to get your schedule. We're scheduling that. We're going to have you in my yard, and we're going to be live cooking up on the Blackstone. What are you cooking on there if we go? I'm going to be making
anything, whatever you want.
I'm a big taco guy. I make really good tacos on there.
Okay.
I can do pretty much anything. I'm versatile. So we'll talk about that another time.
Yeah, we'll come up with a menu. we'll do a live stream of that. It's been an absolute blast. Thank you so much for hanging out with us once again. Matt O'Leary, Richie from JetsMedia. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Appreciate you guys. Let's go Jets.